you think you know what it's like to live a single day of my life? Do you think you know Grumpy I? I was born in Belgrade, Serbia, raised to make a riot. I've seen thugs and criminals, enough to keep you quiet. I've seen drought and famine, recession and floods. I've seen wars on the streets, not like rips and bloods, but like fists and thuds. Rubber bullets flying everywhere, tear gas and lungs. We courted heavy air, forbidden childhoods, bloody teddy bears, friends that'll set your house for the silverware. I've seen it all cause I was there. I felt despair and lost my friends to marching snares, and no one cares to make amends and break the chains. They fake a change and call it fair. I've seen kids that'll stab you just to get your shoes off, so walk home barefooted when school's on. You better shut your trap and keep your head down, or buy a plane ticket so you can head out. So you think you know what it's like to live a single day of my life? Do you think you know Grumpy I? No. So you think you know what it's like to live a single day of my life? Do you think you know Grumpy I? But that's Serbia, where I be, and all I see is liberty, where no one's free, and misery, captivity, toxicity, c'est la vie, but that's not me. I'm trying to be the best band that I can. I'm dying to feed my own ass and my fan on the fiery streets with no one to hold my hand. I feel like my feet are getting stuck in quicksand now. From the day I was born, I was struggling. Dare to say that my grandma was smuggling gasoline and candy for the younglings. Gotta pay all the bills, so we're hustling. I must stay as a straight till the day when the game and the fame starts to pay. Till I fade and I lay in my grave, then you make me out of clay. Not today, I got faith that won't sway into disarray. So you think you know what it's like to live a single day of my life? Do you think you know Grumpy I? No. So you think you know what it's like to live a single day of my life? Do you think you know Grumpy I? No. So that's why I'm a rebel, a renegade and a daredevil from the sub-levels. Fuck your medals and rose petals, they're detrimental. I'm not sentimental, I'm just mental and I'm temperamental, and it won't be gentle when I dismantle all the shit they feed us with. Nobody's protecting you like USA fetuses. Nobody is sacred like Muhammad or like Jesus is. To Cletuses and circumcised penises, and I will say the shit they won't say, and free the enslaved and prey on the depraved until I'm in my grave or my fist is engraved in spaces like memorial places are in their face. And fuck the critics from all the different cliques. I'm a Teflon Don, this shit don't stick. You can throw stones and sticks and tons of bricks, but I don't only pull strings over acoustics, bitch. So you think you know what it's like to live a single day of my life? Do you think you know Grumpy I? No. So you think you know what it's like to live a single day of my life? Do you think you know Grumpy I? No. Nah, baby, you don't know me. You have no idea what I've been through. All the blacklists I was on, politics, protests, people parked outside my fucking door 24/7. You have no idea about the struggle I've been through, and that's why I'm fucking abrasive.
Testicles, is it working? Yes, I told you, I have told you that just give me a few more minutes and something is gonna die. That's the new PC, but you know what? Let me show you something. It's so quiet. What is quiet? Okay, now audio is my mic good? But yeah, I have started buying components for the new PC. So this is the 7950X. So just wanted to like inform you on that. So if you wanna help me out, that's gonna be fucking amazing. Because it's gonna be faster. Will the game run okay on a laptop with a i7 RTX 3060 and a 16 gigs of RAM? No, first of all, you need 32 gigs of RAM. Secondly, laptop graphics and like processors are not the same like the ones you have in your PC. They are like running on lower wattage. Lag in chat, your mic is fine now. You're heard. Everything still? It's even more broken right now with the launch of 318, but it's gonna get better. So how are you guys? I have Scar Citizen. I have slept for maybe 5 hours, so I'm completely fucked up, honestly. So Grifter or Scar Citizen and I have played Overwatch until I think it was like 7 a.m. in the morning. For me, at least. So, today, petition CAG to give us old versions of Star Citizen to play while it fixes the new ones. Yeah, no. It's just gonna get, like, worse before it gets better, honestly. It was 1:30 a.m. for you? That's not bad. That's like... I wake up at that time, basically. I mean, I wake up at... If you know what I mean. Like, I wake up at, like, 6 p.m., for example. Like, today I woke up at 5. But I'm still, like, oh. But 1 a.m., that's when I actually wake up. I need some serious sleep. Yeah, I have insomnia, and I'm doing too much work, honestly. On, like, both the YouTube channels and then... my like main channel, this channel that you're watching this on, if you're on YouTube, the Twitch channel, and then the second YouTube channel. So I gotta like cut the clips. I gotta make a video now and then, even though there's nothing to talk about, honestly. It's easier to stream because you can find topics, but also you don't really need to go that in depth like with a actual YouTube video. Anyway, without like any further ado, didgeridoo, I bring to you the Star Citizen Live. Tell me if you want the music to run in the background, because there's no music on their side, and like anyways. So if you want some music in the background, I can just like play this. But anyway, let's switch to the other scene, and here we go. Okay, there is the intro music, and that's it. What is happening with this cigarettes? Jesus Christ. No, Sadiq, listen. Before we start...
Hi, everybody.
Sorry, Jared. So, first of all, you need 32 gigs of RAM to answer that guy. So, without 32 gigs of RAM, it's not going to work. Secondly, yeah, you gotta, like, have really good cooling in your laptop. And if you don't, like, even if you do, so your CPU and your... graphics are gonna they're gonna run at lower wattage, so it's gonna be much slower. Like it is. I had a laptop with a 3080. It is a 3080, but also it's not. If you compare that 3080 to an actual 3080, it gives like 50% of the performance. So yeah, and of course you need to have an M2 or M.2 or an SSD. M.2 is better.
Welcome
Anyway.
to Star Citizen Live Staring Contest.
How am I today? What's up, SC Magister? Yeah, I'm good, but I'm really tired.
Don't break.
What is happening? What is this like meditation shit?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live Staring Contest.
Oh, staring contest. Sure, I lost it at the first minute. First second. Is he dyeing his hair purple, or is this just like the lighting?
Get in here on this, Torsten. Come on, get in. Move in. Move into frame, Torsten. Come on. You're German. Germans like to have fun.
No.
Germans and fun.
Don't break. If you blink, we're done. You blinked? Yeah. God, we lost. All right,
Okay.
we'll do a show about engineer gameplay. Hi, everybody. I'm Jared. This is Star Citizen.
You remember
Live. I guess we'll do a
yesterday
show
when
about
I
engineer
said
gameplay.
that they are mature, that they are really mature, and I want to see more of that from them? Yeah. So this happened. The day later.
Play. Joining us on the show this week, a man who definitely suffers from unmoist eyeballs. Torsten, how you doing?
I'm fine.
You know, they let me do just about anything I want, and sometimes I'm like,
Honestly, I would love to see like a Hugh Laurie kind of a interview here, where he just like responds in like single words, sentences, and that's it.
that's a mistake. That's a mistake.
But also, I wanna
So,
hear new
you've Never
info.
seen Star Citizen Live before.
engineering.
So we take about an hour at the end of our week and hang out with the developers and the people who help make Star Citizen possible, and talk a little bit about their work, what they do, where they're from, all that kinds of stuff. For the first half of the show this week, we have gameplay lead game. What's your title?
Lead systems.
Lead systems designer, Torsten from the EUPU gameplay feature team, here to talk about Engineer, which is the next evolution of our resource management system. We did a Journey to 4.0 special that we released to YouTube last week in lieu of last week's ISC. So check that out if you haven't already, and then come back. We'll wait.
Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
The episode was a bit longer.
It can double speed.
Just wait.
You play with 16 gigabytes
Honestly,
of
they're gonna start
RAM,
putting
and it
more.
isn't bad. Well, you need fast RAM, and you need like 32 gigs. Like it's recommended on their website because there are like huge chunks of planets and space stations and all of that need to be loaded into the RAM.
Rules and what I can do. So after that show, people had a lot of questions.
Also, 8K towels and 8K rice.
We're just going to dive into that because today's show is going to be a little bit longer. If you thought I was just like wasting time and everything, no, this week's show will be a bit longer than normal. So right off the bat, Torsten, and this is our first question is actually a bit of a mea culpa for us. When we filmed when we were in Germany, one of the things that you said during filming was we have to include a bit about how not everybody is forced to do this. Now, you're not going to be compelled into engineer gameplay, and there are going to be other opportunities for you to go and have your things repaired at space
What's
stations.
that, Stork, sir?
And you were really good at identifying that we needed to film that, and we needed to include that in the section. And then I forgot to put it in.
It's okay.
So it didn't make the segment. So I'm going to ask you right now, talk to us about that. Is Engineer this absolutely enormous behemoth thing that's going to ruin everybody's experience, and everybody's going to be forced into micromanaging the tiniest and most insignificant details of their ship life?
If you're into that, yes. So, so we want to allow you to basically have full control over all the ship items, over your ship. So it should feel like your ship if you're into that.
Aggressively
But on the
chilling.
other hand, we also
Amazing.
want to allow players that are just like jumping in for, let's say, 1 hour of game time. We don't want to force them into you have to do a 2-hour prep and then do another of 1 hour of post-prep for your ship. We really want like also to have those players being able to fly around and experience all the missions in the persistent universe and all what we ever will throw at you.
So, would you say it's kind of what I took from it, from listening to us when we filmed it, from the conversations from you stuff? It's kind of like
You know what, Sportsor? You know what? Fuck you.
owning a car today. The car is going to work, and it's going to
Yeah, I gotta
function, and
cut
it's
my
going
hair.
to do everything that you
Also,
expected
what hair?
to do with very little work on behalf of the owner. And occasionally, a light's going to go on. You're going to have to take it to a service
Yeah,
center.
318 is
get
still
it fixed,
broken.
Get it feed, somebody else takes care of
I
it.
tried playing yesterday. I claimed my ship after 5 minutes, but also I couldn't buy anything, and then I couldn't get a marker for my mission. And I tried 3 missions, and I got a single marker for a mission that was like too far away, so I just like ulted forward.
Not. But if you're an enthusiast, if you're the min-max lifestyle and stuff like this, you can
Oh, you're talking about your trademark. Look, okay, sorry about that then.
tune your automobile to get more out of it, to improve its top speed, to improve its handling, and stuff like that. And that's where engineer gameplay really comes into play.
Exactly. You will be the person that actually is able to identify the light bulb that just went on in your car and tell you exactly, okay, this is the engine. And then when you open up your trunk, you see like, okay, it might be the igniter or whatever. So that is your job. But if you're not into that, you can still bring it to the shop and have it repaired there.
Yeah. So Star Citizen,
And you're gonna get ripped off.
Dave Bridle here, who are no good at playing at doing this and have no interest in. Sorry, I threw somebody under the bus right now. That was an in joke. You're not going to get it. Who don't want to be an engineer or whatnot, they're still going to be able to operate their ship
sure.
and
Fully.
run around and do this like this.
Yes.
But for those people who want to push a bit more, people who want to get a bit more performance, a bit more capability out of their craft.
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely.
And then from the repair standpoint, from the from the people who are in the Jeffrey tubes, fixing stuff like this. I mean, obviously that's a bit of the outside world, imposing in on you. What options do people have for that? Just limp home?
Didn't they say
get it
that the
repaired
Jeffrey
by a
tubes
service?
are stupid and that they're not going to do them anymore? And then you have like half of them, half of the devs saying that like they love them. And I'm pretty sure that like most of the players love the Jeffrey tubes.
Station, or
Yes. So, yeah. So one thing that is even now written behind me on my whiteboard is, which is the main goal that we envision for the engineering gameplay, is that player decisions matter, and one of the decisions can be it's not my gameplay, so I'm not into engineering, and it's a valid decision. It's your choice. It's your game. It's your ship. Whatever you want to do, that you can do it. So, yeah. But that has the consequence of you probably will run with the stock settings for the items that you bought. And you regularly have to go to repair it, so you have to pay the money to actually be able to repair it. And sometimes you might even need to exchange the items for money, so you have to buy a new item to have it then exchanged on your ship and stuff like that. But if you then have the other player type who then is interested in like, no, I can maintain my items myself and I can adjust them to my demands, so you can get a bigger or longer lifetime of the items out of your ship, or you get like a more effective ship, or out of your ship, so you are more effective in the sense of.
I wonder how fast are the components going to degrade.
Yeah.
and from the damage standpoint, it's
So tell me, chats. Tell me honestly, are you into this? Because I am. I'm not a guy that just wants to be an engineer, but I like the certain depth that this will bring to the game. And like, my first experience in the game was when I got the Aurora, and I was doing the delivery missions. And yeah, my Aurora got stolen, but that's not the point. I didn't know how to like retrieve it. But the point is that I jumped from, let's say, Lorville to Crusader, and I just like got out of my seat and I was just standing there because like you can't move anywhere in your Aurora. Like you have the bed and then you have the chair and that's it, or the pilot seat. So I was just standing there and I was like, it was breathtaking because you can walk around your ships, and I was just like imagining what it will be like in like a Hammerhead or whatever in a bigger ship. I didn't know the names of the ships back then. And the unfortunate part is that I did it so many times that I was just like, well, I mean, I'm standing here, but I don't have anything to do. So once I got to that Hammerhead or that Carrack, I still, like, whenever I jump between planets, imagine jumping to Pyro. Like, that's gonna be, well, you can't really jump. You gotta go to the wormhole and you gotta pilot it, so never mind. But imagine, like, jumping longer distances and, like, having slower travel time, which is gonna happen at some point. They're gonna slow down the travel time. So even now, I get out of my seat and I walk around the ship, but there's nothing to do in the fucking ship. Like, the only thing that you can do is man the turrets and use the med bay if your ship has a med bay. But now you will have something to do, some kind of a gameplay. And honestly, I like it. And I don't know if you guys like it. I wouldn't mind to have the ability to fiddle with my ship in detail. Yeah, from what I understand, you can even like tune your ships. So some things could, I'm just like dog here all around, Jesus Christ. So your components would work better for like whatever you're doing. So that's cool. If you could repair, that would be nice, but putting out fires and keeping things cool during a fight, not so much. Well, yeah, that's a thing that needs to happen to balance things out, right? Because the Hammerhead, the Retaliator, the fucking Redeemer, and ships like that are going to be overpowered at some point unless you have a guy running around and trying to like fix the ship out during a fight. And that's like any sci-fi movie that you ever watched, even Star Wars, that doesn't really like go that much in depth with like the ships and all of that. Even fucking Orville, that's like a comedy show, you do have an engineer that's fixing up the ship during the fight and after the fight. Battlestar Galactica 2, Star Trek, etc. So I don't know. I like it.
You know, as time to kill increases, as the game continues to evolve, physicalized damage comes in, the armor, penetration, stuff like that, and the natural time to live or time to kill, however you want to extend.
Sporkster, you want to be like
it'll become a choice,
an engineer main. That's cool.
Between knowing what your ship can do without an engineer and knowing when you have to cut and run, so you don't have to do that, or having an engineer or becoming an engineer yourself.
Well, I mean, look, you don't really need an engineer during your flights. And I'm not sure that you will ever need to have an engineer. Like, have a Carrack and then have a guy that's always with you that's going to be a dedicated engineer. First of all, at some point you will like hire some NPCs. But secondly, I'm pretty sure that you can even fly the Carrack whenever this whole thing comes in. You can fly the Carrack, not engage, not fight because you don't have any gunners. And like once you land, once you have the time, you can just like dedicate some time to like tune up your components and like fix them up.
Time to live.
Yeah, drastically. So it was even just a discussion that I had today with Yogi, where we were briefly talking about the time to kill right now and where we should be going. So we were especially talking about the multi-crew ships because right now it's like a Hammerhead, for example, dies too fast.
There you go. Exactly. It dies too fast. Now, it's better to have 3 Gladiuses than a single fully manned Hammerhead. But at some point, those Gladiuses are going to lose. Like, you're going to have 7 Gladiuses and they're going to lose to a Hammerhead because why? The Hammerhead is a corvette. And what's the point of the corvette? Or of like in the Navy, the corvette is there to fight smaller ships and to fight smaller aircraft.
Mm-hmm. So there's definitely something that we have to do. How it will look like in the future, I cannot tell, because we
In any
have to try it out.
sci-fi,
But
corvettes are there to fight smaller ships. Then you have like destroyers, etc.
one of our goals,
dedicated to fight
additionally
like
to
bigger ships.
increasing the time to kill, is also like if you are in a soft dead state, that you are able to repair to a degree. So you might even be able to repair the pieces you are still in, and if the
That's
engine
cool.
is still attached, you might be lucky to do an escape because you like pulled out your quantum drive out of the piece that is floating around and then attached it back into a socket that might be fitting, and then you somehow boot up the engine and then you fly away and you made the escape.
And now, with that, once this is in the fucking game, which is going to be at some point, I guess, 4 point something. But with that and salvage and reapplying the paints, if you want to call it the paint, it's not like paint, it's like armor components and all of that on the side. You will have. That's what I wanted from this game since I basically started. I still want to have a battle scarred ship. Like I want each of my ships to be battle scarred. So like it's like the Relic guitars. I don't know if you guys are into guitars. But for example, I'm a musician, so I am. So these are battle scars. And these, even though they look completely fucking bashed up and destroyed, these are still like playable instruments, and you can see that they're like worn, like the paint is worn because they're played in. Like whoever owns this guitar, unless it's like this is a custom shop that somebody made to look like a relic, but most of them are just like played in, and you know that the player fucking loved it and he will play it forever. What the fuck did I just click? Yeah, so I want my ships to look like that, basically.
One of the eternal challenges of Star Citizen, not just running a live gameplay environment in the middle of your development, but running a continuing behind-the-scenes documentary, a storytelling series telling the story of the thing while you're in development, is reminding people, without having to keep repeating it every 30 seconds in the thing, that we design systems for the game we're building.
Base building, Sparkster, is not going to be a full-time job, but it will be a full-time job to like maintain. So, yeah, you're going to be like I'm going to call it an engineer. I wanted to call it like a housewife, but yeah.
Not the game as it is today. You know, the game as it is today is
A janitor.
What's available,
Let's call it a janitor.
What works, what doesn't work, stuff like that. You know, got to be real. But when you design systems, you're not designing for the game as it is today. You're designing for where the game will be with the increased time to kill, with the proper damage,
Housekeeping, thank you.
penetration, and stuff like that.
Well, we still have the current state of game in mind, right? So we always try to make it like the ultimate goal is to have it where we want it to be in the future. But
I've heard that the hull armor will just be an XML value change, but I would hope that it'll be integrated with the current salvage system, so you will be able to strip armor. Yeah, it's going to be integrated, but also I don't think it's going to be just like an XML value, because they were talking about like the armor penetration and not just like the properties like you have in most games. So you have armor that like we currently have that, like armor reduction to certain things. The armor reduces 50% of ballistic armor or whatever. I believe that you will need to like in War Thunder. If you ever played War Thunder with like tank battles, you need to penetrate that armor at a certain angle, so you can actually penetrate it, right? If you shoot it at how do you like angles? Jesus Christ! If the angle is too small, it's not small. It's just like I don't know the fucking terms. But let's say that this is like a T-34. So this is the front side of the T-34. So if you hit it from here, it's gonna like the round is gonna bounce off. But if you hit it from here at a 90-degree angle, it's gonna penetrate, right? So from what I know, they're like, at some point they will do something like that.
And sometimes we can do
Maybe
some
even like
slight
reactive
adjustments on the
armors and
way
all that.
there that are more fitting to the
Too
current
sharp,
state of the
thank you.
game.
Too small.
Sometimes it's not as easy to achieve. Sometimes we even have to do additional work to make it work with the current setup. But yeah, those are decisions that we always have
You
to
know
go
what?
through.
The only issue with this, and I'm gonna stop pausing, but the only issue with this whole thing is, I'm not sure that it's gonna be in like 4.0, 4 point something probably. Hey, Elliot. So I'm Koaku. If you guys don't know, that's Elliot from CAG. He joined like yesterday. A super nice guy. We just watched him. I just posted the video on my main channel from yesterday. So the only issue is that like most of these things, to implement most of this, you need to rework almost all of the ships. So the newer ships, I'm pretty sure, and like Elliot, please confirm or deny, just like tell me if I'm right or wrong. But most of the new ships are basically prepared for all of this, for like engineering and resource management and all of that. But the older ships are not. So yeah, I'm gonna stop pausing now.
And sometimes it's the decision is like, yeah, okay, we cannot put that much time and effort into creating like additional work on us that makes it fit better into the current situation. We aim more for the long run.
And, of
And
course,
also, I know that Elliot is not like he's not working in the vehicle content team and all of that, but you probably know a lot more than we do.
introduced the idea of increasing time to kill and stuff. That's obviously where we're working towards for
When are we gonna
every
get
spacecraft in
eatable
the game,
pizza?
except the Cutlass Steel.
Yeah, +1 on that.
Why does it blow up so easily? You do my camera. John Crew, no, zoom in. John Crew. Why my Cutlass Steel blow up so easy? It's like, hey, Cutlass Steel, and it goes, ah, it explodes.
It's made out of steel. It's brittle.
I'm in a mood today.
Honestly, it looks like Jared is more tired than I am.
So all that said, and all of that, you know, laid on the table, just as in a simplified form, do people have to be an engineer?
I'm not sure which ships are set up or not. As long as they do my core, I will be happy. Dude, I'm a sucker for Tana, honestly.
No.
I love the Reliant series.
Now, for someone who chooses,
And you know what? Most people don't even
can they be
know
all three
about the
roles?
Reliant series.
Yes.
Is there something that prevents
It's not a
them from
meta.
being
That's why.
Yes.
one?
Even the person that
looks
doesn't
amazing.
want to be an engineer can be all of those 3 types that we talked about. It isn't it's no skill, it's no talent, it's no device, it's not something that you pick. It's like it's based on your skill. So based on your skill, your knowledge, you just take up we thought the hat might be a clear indicator. But
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. Some of the React videos I saw, you know, people on YouTube or Twitch, or even some of the posts I saw on Spectrum, whatever. Some people took the hat thing to be very literal.
Yeah.
Like there was literally a special hat that you put on.
Dude,
I'm pretty sure I know the answer.
Reliant core subcapital, that would be amazing. Don't do that to me.
There
Come on.
isn't an actual hat.
except the bandana, that is a must-have. So you cannot be anything.
Yeah.
No, kidding.
Yeah,
You don't need a hat.
To a more logical state, though, we're not. This isn't like like switching between a flight mode, like SCM or whatever. There's not a special mode somebody goes into to become a tuner versus to become a mechanic. This is like the difference between salvaging and mining. It's you decide to do these things.
Yes, there's a dedicated console that is constantly running, which full purpose is to give you an overview of the state of the ship. And this can be used by whatever person you are, attached. And once you interact with it, you can be technically called an engineer because you're actually interacting with the system. And for the mechanic, it's like, if there's something, or if you as a person, you don't have to be a mechanic, you just run around and you see something is broken, you pull out your multi-tool and fix it, then you suddenly are the mechanic you are wearing your mechanic hat and actually fixing the thing. For the tuner, it's a bit more complicated. There you have to like first pull out the item and then do some adjustments there and then bring it back in. So multiple steps.
Yeah, so it's one of those things when we talk about
Yeah, this is
professions,
cool, and this is like something that needed to be addressed because they were during CitizenCon last year. Chris was talking about skill systems and all of that, and people are wondering, like, is there gonna be a skill-based system where you can't do something because you're not high enough skill? And honestly, that shouldn't be a thing.
It's like that. I think
At least not in
people can
Star
see
Citizen,
with
because
mining,
it's
what
not that
people
kind
can
of a
see,
game.
now,
At least it wasn't.
with salvaging and stuff like this.
But
it's
yeah.
not a mode. It's not a thing that you check. It's not a thing that you enable. It is a aspect of gameplay.
Wait,
and a
Twitch
system
ad is
that exists
incoming?
for those who are interested.
I
partaking
thought
in
I
it.
stopped
And
them.
The idea of 3 different hats and everything is something to be determined by the crew of a ship. You know, you're going to take care of tuner tasks and you're going to take care of mechanic tasks. But it's not a gamified, okay, I'm putting on my mechanic thing and going. So that allows people to freely bob and weave and dip in and dip out of all 3.
So, for example, if you are the pilot, you can also wear all 3 hats if you want to. You can be responsible for the resource distribution in your ship. You can also run around to fix fuses.
Also, disclaimer: you will not need to wear hats. I'm pretty sure that you will not need to wear a hat to actually be one of those roles.
Might not be the best choice because then you have to leave your pilot seat and actually do the things on. But
Wearing hats and herding cats. Shout out to Jake Bradley. All right, so one of the other big questions that we saw a lot in the comments and stuff is how often. Now, obviously, we're not going to ask you for a specific number. No, I'm not going to ask you for a specific number. But
20
ballpark, what are our thoughts? We have to keep this a high level kind of philosophical thing because tuning and balance comes at the end of the process. But how often are we thinking? When you talk, let's talk about malfunctions, because malfunctions are the kind of thing. It's like it's not somebody shooting me. The damage you get from somebody shooting you is going to happen as often as you get shot at. But for a malfunction, for I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just trying to live my life out in the verse, and my crap breaks. What are we thinking? Is this a thing that happens every 30 minutes?
No.
Is this a thing? Yeah, set some expectations for me here.
So it is dependent on what, if you fly your stock ship. The base example, if you fly your stock ship, we are still debating if we want to make it based on the distances you travel or based on the time you actually spend in the ship. Right now, my favor is to go in the distance side so that we make it distance-based. But
What if you do both? So distance for thrusters and let's say quantum drives, but power plants and all of that. That should be time-based.
But because you might we don't want to punish players.
Honestly, I wouldn't like this to happen, malfunctions. That's just my point of view. I wouldn't like this to happen that often. For example, I'm playing a lot of DayZ in the past few weeks, and there you use a sledgehammer and you use it. But every 20 minutes of using it, killing zombies and defending yourself, it's gonna break, and you gotta find another one. Maybe it's an hour. So that kind of degradation until malfunction is gonna be maybe too much, especially for people that have a lot of ships.
Are just jumping around in one system and just doing the comparison again with cars.
If it happens
You have a
every
car
half
that
month,
you just use to travel short distances in a city.
That's
it lives
fine.
longer than a car that you use to travel. Well, it's not entirely true, but you get the idea. So just to throw something out, it's you might have it once a month, once a week,
Great.
maybe. So
Depends on your amount of usage. Depends on the kind of usage.
Exactly.
That's great,
But
honestly.
we are talking about different
Good
numbers
thinking.
once you start to tune it, or once you start to travel to locations where there are environment effects. Like if you fly into a radiation cloud, these chances are higher that they might trigger or might interfere with the ship items and therefore trigger a malfunction. Or if you didn't pay attention
That's
and you
cool.
left the door open and suddenly the entire atmosphere. So basically any state that your ship is that isn't the stock state will affect the chance for a malfunction. to happen.
So those people that are trying to fast and furious their components and everything,
Exactly.
push them beyond the red line and stuff. Yes, they will have to contend with more engineer. You want more, you have to put more into it as far as gameplay.
But there's also the case when you like basically underpower your ships, right? So this even helps you to
Yeah, they're currently
reduce the
talking about
chances
stress.
of malfunctions to happen. For example, that was with the intention of us allowing you to like travel millions and millions and millions of kilometers with your Carrack to explore the vastness of space. So you basically you would definitely undertune your items so that they are running with a lower like frequency, with a lower capacity, with lower resource consumption, with lower power, and that would ultimately result in they are more reliable. That means
Lower frequency. So are they gonna like? Well, Elliot probably doesn't know that because he's not in the vehicle team. But are we gonna get overclocking again? Because we currently have it, but like it's in the MFDs on some components, but I don't think it does anything. Back in 3.13, it would actually do something. There was no degradation of components, but you could overclock your systems and they would perform better. But they will also overheat much more. So maybe the best. Why am I a armchair developer now? But maybe the best like approach to this is like dependent on how much overheating the component has sustained, like time based, but still like once you get the overheating moment.
they
I don't know.
trigger less malfunctions. So there you might even end up with half a year without a malfunction. I'm throwing in numbers, right? But we didn't decide on that because we have to keep it interesting. But we are definitely not talking about like once every 10 minutes you trigger a malfunction. That would be crazy.
And I think it's important to state this is one of those things that we could probably reiterate every 30 seconds through the entirety of this conversation.
You miss overclocking. You know what I miss the most? I miss the attritions when they were overclocked. And you would just like... So the attritions worked. You got to be close to the target, like really close. And then... Or you had to be really close to the targets. And then if you're just there, close to overheating them, then they work the best. But if you overheat them, there's like a long cooldown time. And that was such a good mechanic, honestly.
All of this is subject to further development, further tuning, further balancing, and most importantly, further testing. I mean, mining is a terrific example. You know, I'm going to use mining as a great example. Torsten and his team are the team that have worked primarily on, done most of the mining stuff that you see. And if you've been following the project, mining has grown and evolved and iterated the likes of far beyond a couple other systems and stuff like this. So, expect that kind of thing from this. Like whatever the first version is that goes out, expect it to continue to evolve. Expect it to continue to change and iterate and grow based on your feedback.
Getting Sentinel is good
teams,
right now,
intake
but also
and understanding of that feedback. I think
you got to know that the Sentinel is not
good at demonstrating
like
that in
the Sentinel is going to
I want to make
change.
sure you get your kudos.
It's not supposed to have like an EMP.
We are already
It's supposed to be an electronic warfare ship.
We are expecting that the values that we put in, once we put them into a patch that will be playable by the players, we expect them to directly react and tune the numbers so that they actually make sense and that like people are actually enjoying.
So one of the questions, again, we saw was, I know we just said you don't necessarily need to have an engineer, but I feel like the desire for one would probably increase as the size of the ship and the complexity of the ship grows. So like let's talk about like a scale. Is there likely to be a use for an engineer on something as small as an Aurora? then like as we go up to a medium-sized ship, from a Cutlass and a Freelancer kind of thing, up to like bigger Connies and stuff, then Carracks, and then Idrises and stuff like this. Talk to me about what you think that progression is. Again, go through testing and iteration and stuff. But what are your thoughts on this here?
So my thoughts are that it is. So we won't put any numbers there. We want to make it attractive. So which is a kind of different approach, right? So we don't go in like this ship needs 5 engineers minimum to function. We really want to make it like you as a player recognize, okay, this is just the overhead of things I have to do is just so high, I should really ask a friend to join and take away the mechanic part of my engineering role. But like since players are really interested in numbers, like for example in Aurora, yeah, you as the pilot are also the engineer. Or if you are actually interested in that, because you still can go to the shop and get the repairs done there, or yeah, you don't have to. For a ship
What happens when like a power plant
Cutlass Black?
malfunctions and you can't really go to the shop? Or are they thinking like, okay, so the component is going to malfunction, but it's not completely dead, and you can use it in like a lower capacity, like it's gonna like output 10% of the power or the speed or whatever.
I think it's also still fine that it is one person. A second person will definitely help, because then you can sit still in the pilot seat and then have the other person like exchange a fuse or something like that.
You want some background in the
Because
chat?
also,
Give me a
like, the
second.
Space allows it. Yeah, on the Carrack, yeah, my personal recommendation here would be a minimum of 2 dedicated roles there. So you have one that basically pays attention to the entire setup, because like also life support is part of that, and gravity, so the artificial gravity. So there's plenty to manage, while you should have a handyman running, a handy person running around there and actually fixing stuff.
It's also
Not sure if this is gonna fix it. Probably not.
Torsten is.
I got to do that
questions
like
coming at it from the
when I'm
perspective
offline.
of the engineering gameplay. So there are many, there are ship teams and other gameplay teams, stuff like this, that all come in, and it's really going to depend on what you want to do with your ship and how you want to do it. But I don't think it's unfair to say that if we're a massively multiplayer game in a universe designed for, the intention is to have many people there, that if you bring one person to a situation versus you bring 2 people to a situation, we should be providing
Didn't do anything.
players with the opportunities to make 2 people more effective than 1.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I gotta do that
more
offline.
effective, but more enjoyable.
Sorry, I missed this part completely because of the chat.
Gravity, so the artificial gravity. So there's plenty to manage, while you should have a handyman running, a handy person running around there and actually fixing stuff.
It's also, I want to acknowledge that Torsten is answering these questions coming at it from the perspective of the engineering gameplay. So there are many, there are ship teams and other gameplay teams, stuff like this, that all come in, and it's really going to depend on what you want to do with your ship and how you want to do it. But I don't think it's unfair to say that if we're a massively multiplayer game in a universe designed for, the intention is to have many people there, that if you bring one person to a situation versus you bring 2 people to a situation, we should be providing players with the opportunities to make 2 people more effective than 1.
Yeah, it's like
It would be really
more
good
effective, but more
in like PvP scenarios. It would be really good if the engineer mattered, and not in the sense, okay, so you have an engineer or a tuner, whatever you want to call him, and he's gonna walk around, he's gonna run around and like fix components that are broken, but in the sense of having him or her to tune the ship in a particular way on the fly, so it would be more effective. That would be good. So if it's like a skill-based thing. So what I'm thinking here is, oh, we need more power to the guns, or we need more power to the shields. There's a torpedo incoming, and then he just like diverts all the power to the shields, for example. And that's like, I'm not talking about the pilots doing that, but you telling the engineer to do that. That would be cool.
More enjoyable.
What's up, bye
right?
boy?
So if you're the only engineer on the ship and you constantly have like something red flashing and you're just stressed out by like, and you cannot keep up with the damage that has been done, I think it's, for some players it might be fun, like having this stressful, but for me, no. I would prefer to have like...
I never
something else
liked
eye on
being
as
the
well.
only
So I
engineer in
would, in
Barotrauma.
Hammerhead, like, hey, you take the left side of the ship, I take the right side, and yeah.
So I'm looking at the chat, some of the questions that are coming in. A lot of people are curious about how this interacts with repair. Like right now, the only version of repair that players see is you land at a thing and the drones fly around, or you've got a beam, and you shoot a beam at it. Talk to me about how engineering works with repair, either how it is.
Yeah,
today.
for example, like Stamperito, what you just said, but like maybe in a different sense. So your shields are going down because they're getting hit a lot, and then like we know that they're gonna go up faster if you divert the power, and if you have somebody that's gonna be cooling the components at the same time. Not with the coolers from the ship itself, but like with, I don't know, with liquid nitrogen or whatever. Maybe even do it in on an MFD. I'm fine with that. Just mechanically? Yeah, it could be mechanically. It could be like whatever. Honestly, I'm fine with both.
Or where we're going in the future.
As it's more where we are going. So in the beginning, so right now our focus is in the engineering gameplay, and the next step that we then have to take is like fine-tuning the repair gameplay. That doesn't mean that the engineering gameplay doesn't have repair in it as well already, right? But we really would like to take repair afterwards a bit further than what we will deliver with the engineering gameplay.
That's
so
cool.
The engineering gameplay might look like a more basic type of repair where it's exchanging items, exchanging fuses, using a repair beam to bring up the health of your items, fixing the hull you already know from the hull scraping part of it. But there is also, like, because we are going in this malfunctioning direction where it is like this like non-visible damage that can happen to your items. There we want to go a bit more creative, so there are dedicated counters to that malfunction that you are facing, which is considered repair, right? So you bring back the item to its full functional state, and yeah. So to sum it up, the engineering gameplay holds in repair functionality, but we want to move it further afterwards.
Chat is going off. What version of the game is Jared playing? He's talking about repair drones and beams. Yeah, I'm talking about what came before, what we've presented in the concept, promotions for several repair ships, like the
I mean, we had repair drones before.
Vulcan and stuff that aren't out, and where we're moving, back to in the future with repair drones and flying around. If one must understand the great mysteries of Star Citizen, must take more than a dogmatic view of just the Jedi. I'm seeing him talking everything, trying to give me crap in the
Everything,
chat.
everywhere at the same time.
Talking about it all. So we're talking about the future. Can somebody?
What if I don't have an engineer or anyone who wants to RP as an engineer? You can go to the shop and repair your stuff and tune it up in the shop. But you're not going to be able to do it on the fly.
Shit. Now we talk about the
They said
different
that.
roles and stuff like this. Let's talk about sabotage, like reverse engineering, if you will, using engineering offensively.
Yeah.
Is there going to be opportunities for players to sneak on board ships and use the tools of engineering offensively?
Yes.
Sabotage.
Yes.
You want to elaborate on that at all?
I can elaborate on that. Yes.
I mean, they already shown us that that you can take the fuses out of components and basically just sabotage the ship by doing that.
So we want to tie it in with a hacking gameplay. So that's one fact, that we want to allow you to hook yourself into one of the items and then get even access to like imagine yourself, you being the aggressor on the ship, you plug yourself into the power plant. If you don't...
What's up,
want to-
Dusnil Dawn? So you will be able to solo ships, but if you want to be in a constant fight, let's say a PvP environment, you would do better if you had engineers right there. But you will be able to solo your ships. You will be able to repair them on the fly on your own. But if you don't want to, you can go to the shops, and the shops are gonna repair your ships, basically.
There's the option you physically damage it, so you might punch it or use hammer with a wrench on it, or use a beam to destroy it.
We love our beams.
Yeah, that's all about beams. And then, or you are the more digital assassin of the ship, where you just plug yourself in and go through the hacking gameplay. And then once you succeed, you get basically you get access to the states, what we talked about for the item. So you can switch around the states of the item and mess up your ship. But what you can also do is you can decide to ignore the item and progress further through the ship. So you basically move from node to node inside the ship. So once you successfully hack this power plant, you will see all the connected items that you can then select and start the next hacking procedure. And then you can make your way to whatever item you actually wanted to target and then change its functionality, turn it off, or
That's cool.
vent a room if you want to target the life support, or every functionality that you see on the engineering screen would be accessible through that hacking process.
I think chat's going out like hacking, yes.
Yeah, and
hacking
with
has been
certain
the,
ships like the Legionnaire, you will be able to do that remotely. You will not be like... I know that they said that you can hack the docking port before you dock, so you can dock to the ship and you can board it. But I'm pretty sure that like once you're docked, you will be connected to the ship mainframe, or whatever you want to call it, and then you will be able to hack like the ship.
the card
At least that's what I hope
Precision
that's
Universe
gonna
Emperor
happen.
Squadron 42 for some time. Intrepid viewers of the public roadmap might remember there was a hacking card on the public roadmap for quite a while. We actually had a. Going back to our conversation just before the show starts, we actually had filmed a segment for ISC way back when, detailing how hacking was going to work and what was that, and it was filmed and it was edited, and then somebody had a great idea about how to change it, and it fundamentally changed. It's like, no, we're going to go this way, and everything in that segment became wrong. So it's one of the few segments we've ever produced that never got aired and whatnot. It happens a while. You know, the only constant in game development is change. It affects our video production as well. But no, when there is we already know the time and the place where we're going to reintroduce folks to hacking gameplay and how it's going to manifest and stuff. So stay tuned. No other updates about that just yet. One of the other curiosities
I think he's already said that they're going to talk about hacking like later this year.
that came out of the show, flamethrowers.
Yeah, it's a thing. You have to, no.
Okay, were you being serious when you mentioned flamethrowers? Were you joking?
It was a joke. I'm very bad with jokes, I'm German.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, honestly. Okay, so first of all, yeah, it was kind of a overkill that like you had to use flamethrowers to like get your components up to like a higher what's it called? Jesus Christ, temperature. It was a kind of a overkill. But also I wanted to have a flamethrower for the bugs, because flamethrowers or flamethrowers, bugs are gonna be like the first things that we're gonna see in, like, from what I know, they're gonna be in the caves. And this is not anything that's like, we already know that they made something in the cave that you can pick up right now in the sand caves. So this is just like a speculation, but also we know it. Even though it's not like a blowtorch, you have a laser pistol.
Yeah, and the flamethrower that folks saw in the show.
So I want flamethrowers for the bugs.
Literally, I don't remember which rifle, but Will and Dave took the rifle and added flame to it to do the thing. So you're not actually looking at
not even
shooting a flamethrower at
the
power supply.
Yeah, the blowtorch was also an ejaculation there. So it's more like you can bring up the heat of the room with life support and stuff like that. So you might have more non-violent ways of bringing up the temperature if needed.
Yeah. Now that's not to say that flamethrowers won't make it into the game. The actor feature team is
Yeah, you don't want
very
rats
keen
chewing on the
putting
wires.
flamethrowers in. We're just saying that. I'm sorry.
And I'm not saying that they wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's just
so
that
they might damage it,
they're
but
not an intentional part of engineer gameplay, and they're not soon. On the flip side of that, though, exploding toilets.
That's unfortunate.
it actually is now on our list.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Look into that camera and tell them that exploding toilets is actually on our list now.
Yeah, the exploding toilet is on our list now.
Because you saw it in the show and it was awesome, huh?
Yes.
I should just stop the show right there. See if we have any more questions from the chat. Let's recount the basics. Engineer gameplay is a totally optional or mostly optional profession like mining and salvaging. You can do many activities in the persistent universe without diving particularly deep into it if that's not your particular cup of tea. You'll be able to take your ship back to repair stations or service stations and get the work done automatically as needed. It is there should you wish to take your space experience further, getting more performance out of your vehicles, getting more performance out of your capabilities out of your spacecraft, and being able to stay out in the far reaches of unexplored systems and stuff like that longer without having to come back and check in and repair. Flamethrowers are still on the wish list for the actor feature team, not necessarily a distinct part of engineering. Exploding toilets are the new cornerstone of engineering in all engineering gameplay.
I won't go that far.
We'll be basically around just trying to keep the toilets in your
Such a troll.
ships from exploding. That's why we put bathrooms and toilets on every ship. That's why Drake's ships are the best. They're the only ones that aren't going to have the exploding toilets. Am I right in everything so far?
All right,
Anything else you want to leave people with before we let you go? Any final words about engineering gameplay? You've seen your own feedback. You've seen the own comments. What are we missing? What do people need to know today? Now, we are going to come back with another look at engineering later this year when it's much farther along. We can actually show you it working.
What's up, Joseph?
The evolution of the resource management system with it. So we're not about answering every question and dotting every T today, but
I'm doing good. How about you?
I think we touched everything that I also stumbled over, where I was like, yeah, we should talk about that again and clarify things.
okay. Well, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
And all right, so up next, that was
Okay,
Thorsten.
so the biggest thing here that you need to remember is toilets. That was a joke. Come on. I know whenever I'm sarcastic and like being Serbian, I know sarcasm, and for some reason, most of the US guys just don't understand my sarcasm at all. Could be a language barrier and like all that, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. So toilets, that's not a thing. I mean, it is a thing, but they're not going to be explosive and they're not going to destroy your ships. Come on. But flamethrower coming, but not for engineering, but coming at some point. Honestly, I can't wait for that. What's up, Akrona? But the main takeout is that you will be able to solo your ship if your ship. So basically, this is like I guess Nubify already released his video, but like in 1 minute, you will be able to solo your ship. But also, if you want your ship to work better in certain conditions, like in a fight or in certain environments that we don't currently have, like radioactive, etc., you will be better off with having an engineer /tuner / whatever. You don't need to get your skill points up, you can just like wear a hat. Not literally, you don't need a hat, but you can wear a hat of an engineer. And yeah, maintenance on your like ship components will be done over time. You will need to maintain them either in shops or on your own, or by like a specified engineer. It doesn't matter, like a guy that you have in your org that's going to be an engineer. But that's like timer or whatever it's going to be in the end is not going to be that high. So you will be doing that like every like half a month or a month, which is honestly really good. And I'm liking the thinking, and I'm liking where this is going. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that this will not be released with 4.0. Hopefully it will. I don't know. But I'm seeing this in like 4.2, 3, or whatever. So that's like the main take out of the like first, what is it, half an hour of this show. Honestly, I like it. Also, hacking is going to be tied in with the engineering. That's one more thing. Hacking is going to be tied in with the engineering. And you will be able to do everything from your engineering deck or from your MFD that you have in front of you as an engineer. You will be able to do most of the things, but also you can be hacked from the same deck. See you, Grifter.
Up next, our next guest couldn't actually be here today.
Why am I
because he'd be here
insane when I
earlier
can
in the
just
week.
claim it for free and brand new? You realize that that is going to change, right? So that's not going to be a thing, I don't know, a few years from now. You will be able to claim your ships once they're destroyed, but it's going to be a much higher price than it is right now. The timer is probably going to be ridiculous. Like even for, probably not for the like starter ships, but like the bigger ships. We already have a timer of like an hour for bigger ships. And then you expedite it and it's like half an hour. So it's still bad, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to get worse. So you will have to maintain your ship, basically. Or go to the store and buy a second ship. If you want to go down that route.
So we pre-recorded. We're trying something different. We did half of this week's Star Citizen Live is going to be a Star Citizen
Thank you, Grifter.
Live-ish. So that's it for the engineer gameplay section. If that's what you were interested in, you can go back and do something else. And if you're
Also, you know what?
in-
You will probably at some point lose all of the modifications that you have done to your ship once you reclaim it. So you lose, let's say you have an Andromeda that's like pimped up with like great or spec'd out with like great components. And I don't know how I feel about this, but also that would mean that people will get like attached to their ships and not just like ditch them whenever they can. But if that is a thing, that would be, I guess, good. So what I'm thinking is you will probably lose all the components that you have in your ship once you reclaim it. And you just get like a brand new, factory new ship that is... my dog is weird. That is basically stock. So you would get attached to your ship and you will not want to lose it or reclaim it.
in the life and times of
You won't
performance
lose
capture
modifications?
artist who works on Squadron
Honestly,
42.
I can say that from this point of view, right now, I don't like it. But down the line, without the bugs, or with less bugs, because it's always going to happen, right? I would love to have that happen because people would take care of their ships.
2 and Star Citizen. Stay tuned. We're going to play that, and then I'll be back here at the end. Bye, everybody.
Oh, this is new that they added.
You ready? Okay.
Oh, what's her name? Wait, she's a streamer, right? Anna something? right?
Maybe I should have combed my hair.
She's also
Hi,
like a
everybody,
voice
welcome
actor.
back.
Anna.
Here with another episode of
Thank you,
Star
Elliot.
Citizen Live-ish. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. And if
Like
you've never seen
you can tell that I started streaming like maybe a month ago. No, it was more like a month and a half ago.
Star Citizen Live-ish
On
before.
Twitch.
It's where we
Yeah,
take,
yeah,
a
she-
little
I
bit
know
of
that
time
she's,
out of our week, and we talk with
The
our
new
developers,
Babbage lady.
people who make the Star Citizen universe
Dooley.
possible. This week's show is live-ish because we're actually shooting it on Wednesday. We're shooting it on Wednesday. Hello, Wednesday.
Hi.
I didn't expect Wednesday to answer. We're shooting on Wednesday because our guest is on a special trip up here from the south of England. I'm not going to say where. We're not trying to dock somebody here. Let's just get to the introduction because we're doing
They know
really
where I
well.
live.
Anna, how you doing, Anna?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Nice. I saw some
I am
clips of her.
renowned for
She seems really nice and like really good energy and all that. And I got to tell you, I listened to her voice for 6 months while building Siege, and it drove me insane. But she is lovely.
absolutely mispronouncing and destroying.
No, I
people's
would like.
last
I
names.
personally would like to know how you're going to pronounce it, just so I can hear that, and everyone here can hear it too.
Dimitro.
Wow.
Dimitro.
Wow.
Dimitro.
Let's just my new name. That's my new name now. Demetro. Let's do it.
Just Dimitro.
I'm happy with that.
How is it?
That sounds like a
It's one of
medicine.
those really annoying words that has 3 vowels at the end, so you have to go Demetrio.
Dimitrio.
I-O-U.
It's Greek.
Yes.
Okay.
Greek Cypriot.
Maybe
it's
if I'd
Greek,
known that
okay.
before, I would have. Not really. I was going to murder that
No,
regardless.
research was done.
So, Anna,
Yeah.
you are often on the show. We have our developers, we have programmers and designers and artists and stuff. We rarely get a chance to have a performer on the show. So, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
I created the whole thing. It's just
You would love to have your voice there.
no one really knows it, but
Me too. But the only voice that I could do would be like a bad guy, a Russian bad guy. Could be Serbian because I'm Serbian, but yeah, people still confuse like Serbia with Syria and Siberia, so might as well just be Russian.
I'm an actor on the lower end of the food chain of game development. I'm joking, but yeah, no, I'm an
I will be
actor.
perfect.
do a lot of
Thank you.
voices for Star Citizen, and,
Thank you, Elliot.
Is that what you wanted me to say? When you, do you want me to go?
I can also do the hard Russian if you want me to. It is not a problem for me, but the thing is, I'm trying to sound a bit better.
further back from that.
That's fine.
I was born in '93.
No. We just said we're trying not to dox you.
You couldn't even point out Serbia on a map.
my
Exactly.
birthday.
Every piece of you don't understand.
Dude, do you know? We'll continue. Do you know how many times it happened to me that like somebody saw something happen like in Siberia or Syria, and they would just like message me like, "Are you okay?" Like it's the other part of the fucking world. But yeah, sure, I am. Thank you.
On the internet?
No, trust me.
Yeah.
I stream.
Vlad the Grumpy
Yeah, I
Eye.
have to think about that all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah, okay. So you are a performance capture artist for Star Citizen. You've done a number of roles for Star Citizen. You were just up here this week doing additional roles for Squadron 42. We'll talk a little bit about that later
Yes.
like this.
You're from Chechnya. Well, where are you from?
But let's
Luke?
talk about how you got your start. Let's like I said, these second half of the shows are usually reserved for getting to know people and who they are and how they got their start. The first half is where we're going
Okay.
to talk about the development stuff and the stuff that people care about and stuff like this. The second half isn't the part that anybody cares about, but we're going to do it anyway. Because I want people
Yeah.
to get to know the people that make the game.
Yeah.
That's what this show's about. So tell us about how you got your start. Where did you come from? The area of your mother's undercarriage.
Where did you
But
go?
after that, where did you come from?
What is
the look
happening
she
here?
gave me. I'm like, that's what she wants to say.
I'm
I
like,
can
I'm going to
tell.
make you embellish what you mean by that. Wow. Do you mean acting or in life?
Yes.
Both? Both?
We got half hour to fill.
I always knew I wanted to be an actor, one of those cringe stories, but it's true. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I moved to London when I was 19 to go to drama school. I trained at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, which for anyone else, you might have just heard it as LAMDA. I was grateful enough to be signed with an agency in third year, and then I did a couple feature films, and then video games started coming up into my kind of audition process about 2 years into acting. and I did a VR game for PlayStation called Bravo Team. That was like that was the first video game I ever did, and it was straight into kind of the main voice of that. And then a couple of months later, I think Star Citizen came up as an audition. It was an audition that,
Nice.
you may want to talk about this in depth. It was an audition that I thought I bombed. It was the worst, to this day, probably the most awful audition I've ever done. So the fact that they offered me 2 roles and it completely changed my life, honestly, this game changed my life, is the funniest thing ever to me. And it surprises me all the time that happened.
All right, so we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty big on Twitch,
School.
right?
I want to ask you about drama school because you went to.
I
Drama
don't know.
school.
I'm new to
went
Twitch. I never
drama school.
watched
I
streams.
taught
I never streamed
at a
before.
drama school
So
back in
I'm
the house.
sorry,
in
but
the
I
age
don't
of
know.
2006. I was teaching at drama school in 2006. What was? But that's an American kind of thing. I want to hear about what a UK drama school is like. I don't have any conception whatsoever what a UK drama school is like. Is it just constant Shakespeare monologues every other day?
There wasn't not constant Shakespeare, but I guess the reputation would be that it would be hyper English, and maybe it was, I don't know, but we had lessons in pretty much every aspect of performing so that you could get to know so that you could be prepared for any occasion. We had singing, we had voice, we had dance, we had frickin' flamenco, exactly like that. That was incredible.
I taught dance.
I hope that, can we zoom in on that later? Yeah. We had things like just general movements, so like flopping around. We had all of the cringy stuff that you imagine, so like
Mime.
beard, yes, well not actually no mime, but we had more like animal studies so that you could get, things like that. All of that is definitely not a stereotype. That happens. That really happens. But video games really weren't part of my training at
It's
all.
not that
And
different
nowadays,
to
apparently-
like Serbia and the drama schools I've been in, because the only difference is, at least she didn't mention it, in all of the dramas that we did, and that's like, I guess that's a Serbian thing. You gotta have a lot of comedy, and it's mostly dark comedy, but like in all the suffering, whatever you're doing, you have to have comedy. And even if there's like a deep realization of the main character and how he perceives the whole situation or the world or whatever, it's like, even if it like draws you in, it still needs to be comedy. Because the way we're living and all of that, like we need comedy in our lives to like push through.
It is. I hear what Lambda are doing now, and they're building.
Which I realized much later. I don't really like. I wanted to like play real characters that are like gritty and like even like bad guys and all of that. But we always had to have comedy and like comedic approaches to everything. Which like later in life I realized why, because it's
the drama
just
school itself. So games and
it still needs to be
definitely way
entertainment.
further along in training side of things now than it was, but it was all a lot of learning when I started doing it off the cuff. I had no previous, like there was no training in my body to do with games, that I just had to learn everything from the scratch, really.
Did you go into acting with the idea that you were going to act for games?
No, and that was the biggest pleasant shock ever, that it could even be involved in my life. I didn't think that
It's the same in Chechnya. I'm kidding.
that could be part of my job, because I thought it was very separate, and for a long time it was quite separate. Video games were done by voice actors exclusively, and I thought, okay, I'm an actor, not a voice actor, so I can't do games. And then I realized that, and then nowadays they are just auditioning. Well, I'm waiting for him to say something.
No. I'd love to know what the difference between an actor and a voice actor.
Because a voice actor only does voice. That's generally what a voice actor is trained to do. So generally there wasn't a crossover back when I graduated. And now games are being cast the same way as film and television. They're getting...
Yeah, you know why?
Screen.
And being from the industry and being like worked on... how do you say that? I have worked, that's the point. I have worked on a couple of movies and series here as a sound engineer and as an actor. most of it was like either pantomime or like pantomime. I'm gonna call it pantomime, but without actually saying anything, because like those movies where I acted were all done with like sound effects. But I did a couple of series here with like cartoon series, and the crossover happened because before, when you had voice actors, those voice actors, like back in the 70s, 80s, 60s, whatever, up until the 90s, when we got like PC games, cartoons, and all of that, voice actors were there for a couple of reasons: for like radio dramas, for commercials, for a bunch of things like that. And they were just like classically trained to be the voice actors, and then you had the actors, and then they're split into like theater actors and like film actors, right? So the reason why everything is intertwined now is because of like games and cartoons and all of that. And with games and cartoons, like animated TV shows and all of that, you have like mocap and all of that. So naturally, you will hire the same actor that's going to be the voice actor for the character, and you're going to mocap him.
Screen and theatre actors to also be in games, and there's no differentiation. But back then, it was like a voice actor does games.
Grumpy just did huffing and puffing for Serbian porn.
No.
No,
does screen and theatre. So I didn't think it was part of
Shane,
my...
come on.
It could be part of my job, and then it was, and I was so excited.
You've done voiceover stuff though before.
But I didn't realise that voiceover.
You can find me on IMDb, by the way.
Career. So when
Not under Grumpy Eye, but you can find me there.
You'd have to say yes, by the way.
Just saying.
It's just a video game.
And it's not
And I was
porn.
like, yes. And they're like, you sure? You don't have to say yes. I was like, yes. Because to them, at the time, I think it's honestly, in the last 5 years, because I graduated in 2016, the last few years, it's considered alongside film, TV, and theatre. But back then, I think my agent didn't see it the same. It's really, really come on like leaps and bounds. So for then, it was like, it's just a little thing if you want to do it. And for me, that was just as exciting as film, television, and theatre.
What was your first non-video game, like professional acting role that you can remember?
IMDb.
It was a paid short film. And then after that...
What's it called? The IMDb, the fucking... for the movies. Just type in IMDb and you're gonna see like the movie database with the actors and everything.
Was the lead in a feature film, action film. That was the Viking Destiny movie.
The Viking what?
Viking Destiny, the Viking movie.
Viking Destiny movie?
Yes.
What is the Viking? I don't know what the Viking Destiny movie
I
is.
don't know what
I think if you work with any kind of studio, sometimes they tag you in the credits for IMDb. So in Serbia, that's not a thing. Most things that I did here, I was uncredited because they suck. Like most people here suck, honestly. But the things I'm credited for are the things like on IMDb and all of that are the things that were shown at like festivals around the world. So even though they're like small flicks, they're not even important. Don't even fucking Google them. You will probably not even find them online, so you can watch them. But I'm not talking about series. Yeah, you can find those series. But the only reason why I got credited for some of the roles I did as a sound engineer or as a music producer or whatever, or as an actor, was because those festivals asked for like the whole like list of people that worked on the movies.
Weirdly, Viking Destiny was a working title, and then America liked that name so much that they bought it with that name. So I wish it wasn't called Viking Destiny, but it is called Viking Destiny because the US went, yes. In the UK, it's called Of Gods and Warriors, but it's, I know, a little bit more.
Of Gods and Warriors.
Yeah, exactly like that. So that was an action film where I played a Viking princess, and there was sword training.
The matter-of-fact way she's where I play a Viking princess.
It's just like Viking. It's obviously a Viking, and I'm
Another Viking princess.
Yeah.
Done one, done them all.
No.
And then you're so can people? Is that available on like streaming?
It was on Netflix for 4 years, and then I think it was taken down recently, maybe last year. It was on there because they kind of just chop and change movies on there. But it's on Prime and YouTube and Google and stuff.
And your first video game role?
Bravo Team for PlayStation.
Bravo, that was the VR game you just
Yes, it was not a great game. It was not a great game. Everyone knows that, though. I think it was quite rushed, and it didn't do very well commercially. But it was so nice for me even just to be a part of something like that. And I played it all the way through, and was like blown away by the fact that I was hearing myself back in something I would play anyway.
But we're going to jump over Star Citizen then, because
Yeah.
you have the Viking movie, and then the thing. Something you did that was very well received, though, is the most recent Plague Tale
Yeah.
Super Requiem, or I don't know what
Super
the name.
Requiem.
What was it? Was Plague Tale Requiem?
Yeah, the sequel to Plague Tale Innocence, Plague Tale Requiem. Yeah.
How was that?
Amazing. Honestly, so amazing. Because it was my first, so at this point, at that point,
Honestly, I didn't know that she
now
did more games.
about 13 video games.
I only knew about
Then I'd done
Star
about
Citizen.
10, 11. And even though I'm very grateful to do a lot of voices, they're often quite either like automated or background or military type characters, and so, which I love, of course. I love doing all of it. I love this industry so much. But Plague Tale was the first time I got to play like a real kind of very human, emotional, had a storyline, feelings, thoughts, kind of person that players could really get like attached to. So that coming out and seeing people love this character or really like this person and get attached to her as a character the way that I've done with games was so special to me. So it's been really nice.
Yeah, I did. You mentioned you always got background. You always got these automation things. I did the thing. I went to school and I did plays at like 20, 30 plays at the time, and I made my run at film and stuff. And I was always told, "You look like that guy." I'm like, "What is that guy?" Exactly. You look like that guy. You look like that person we kind of sort of know in our lives. It's like, but you don't stand out. Was basically what I was told by every casting director and everything. It's like, you look like just that person. You're going to be great in the background. You're going to be great for like the best friend.
They would actually say that to
yeah,
you?
you're going to be great for the neighbor. You're going to be great for the neighbor. And the only work I ever got were what we call industrials, which actually came up in the conversation with John Schimmel. So if you're watch this episode and watch John Schimmel, I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit. But industrials were those videos that you had to watch when you hired into a place, like those instructional videos about how not to run people over with forklifts.
Oh my God,
It's
like
like
work,
that.
educational
Yeah,
work
yeah.
video?
So that was the work I got.
Oh,
because
no.
again, I looked like somebody it was always like, you look like this guy I know. And so it was always running over somebody with a forklift and being contrite, or being the victim of being run over by a forklift, or, and this was actually my bread and butter, making sexual harassment videos. I made a lot of sexual harassment videos because they're like, you look like you go, this is what I got. This is what I heard more than anything.
Where is this going?
Decent person who would sexually harass somebody and not know it.
Oh my God.
And that's
Okay.
what they want to show in the instruction manual. They're trying to show how anybody can do it, not even
How are
good
you
people.
supposed to receive that as a sentence?
That was why I got out of the industry.
You go, great, thank you, hi. Like, wow, how?
Well, eventually I hired into Disney, and in a big orientation at Disney, with like 80 people in this big ballroom and everything, they started playing one of the sexual harassment videos I was in.
No.
And so I'm sitting there, surrounded by, people, and they're watching me sexually harass people. I'm just like, this is not me. I'm not a good actor. It's not a good performance. It's nobody will see me as anything else. So I got out of that. But it was weird.
Oof. Oh shit. Oh my God. First of all, those like, oh my, like I'm speechless, honestly. I'm so sorry, Jared. Like, it's not that it's any better here, but at least we don't have those like clips or whatever you call them, like info things. They're not infomercials, that like whatever. At least we don't have that, so you're not gonna suffer through all of that. But Jesus.
Good story, then.
Yeah, but it was weird. But yeah, I was never considered to be like a performer or an actor. It was always, it's like, you're good at explaining how things work.
Oh, this is the second
good at
time you heard him say this?
Why things are done.
didn't know
a
about
certain
this.
Way.
Yeah.
And that was literally. And then we fast forward here, we see it here. Now I'm struggling to explain why things are done a certain way, and I need direction.
The way that you look shouldn't come up in acting as much as it does, but it really, unfortunately, does. People sometimes message me and go, is it as superficial as it looks or seems? And I can't really contest it because it's something that is thought about all the time. Yeah.
Sometimes in video games, you get the thing where they'll take your performance, but create a different face, or look like Last of Us, for instance.
Yes.
Famously, some well-regarded voice actors and stuff.
Yes.
But then they make artificial faces on them, so it doesn't really matter what they look like.
Yes.
But in something like Star Citizen, and especially in Squadron 42, we're very much keeping with the actors. Look
Wait,
possible.
the actors in The Last of Us look like the characters in The Last of Us look like the actors, the real life actors. No, they don't. I'm stupid. No, Ellie is completely different and older and all of that. Never mind.
It's like that. So,
But Joel is the same guy.
It's also financials as well. So if you have to, I don't know if you know Beyond Two Souls, that game.
Yes,
If what's his name? The guy that plays the Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe.
Yes, Willem Dafoe. Like if you actually have to pay for the actual for it to look exactly like Willem Dafoe, and so everyone plays the game and knows that's Willem Dafoe, you have to pay for their likeness, and paying for the likeness is more expensive than just paying for the voice. And
It's not just the likeness; it's also like his time, because he could be doing a movie at the time that would pay much more, basically. So you're not just paying for the voice and like the. It's just basically paying for the time and for the knowledge.
For the game to go, okay, we'll
for the
create
experience.
an imaginary appearance so that we don't have, because it's just for finances and stuff. But
I would have a hard time as a player if I know Willem Dafoe's delivery is so distinct.
Oh yeah.
Like imagine hearing Christopher Walken's voice out of somebody who looks like Tom
Walken
Cruise.
in a game would be so great. Oh my God.
The QA reports on that must be insane.
Yes.
Like, no, I think there's something wrong with the syntax. I'm like, no, that's working as intended.
No, that's
What role did you play in Plague's Tale?
Sophia.
Sophia,
yeah.
Okay, so there was the main character,
Amicia,
and then
of which my dad, when I said, oh, by the way, Dad, I'm in this game called Plague Tale Requiem, I also specifically said the name Sophia, but my dad I think he was just a little bit, he must have been busy when I explained it. When the game came out, he sent me this in-depth review article praising Amicia's performance, who is amazing and one of my best friends. And he was like, congratulations, you killed it. And I was like, Dad, love you. That's not who I'm playing, but thank you so much for the article. Oh, bless him. But yeah, Sophia.
When I was in Macbeth, my father told everybody in the world I was playing Macbeth, and I was Macduff. I was Macduff, and they had never.
Still a good part.
They had still a good part, but they had not shown up for like the last 4 shows I had done, and I had made a big kind of stink about it, about how my family wasn't supporting me.
Right.
Because I was destined for industrials, and so my dad made this big thing about telling everybody, "Oh, my son's playing Macbeth, and brought a huge group to the theater expecting to see me as Macbeth.
Oh my God, no! These stories are so brilliant, though.
And then
it's like
I was there as Macduff.
No. Oh God.
Yeah. So I feel you.
Beth walks out and they're like, he looks different. He looks different.
You're watching Sharing Our Traumas with Anna and Jared, only on
Childhood performance drama.
twitch.tv/Star Citizen. So let's talk about Star Citizen now.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? Your agent send you a thing?
Yes,
say
Burrito.
There's a posting.
Yes, they're like.
Look, Shane, here's the thing. Honestly, I have made a giant leap from being that guy that's constantly like aggravated. I am still aggravated by some things, I'm not gonna lie. But at this point, honestly, I'm just gonna enjoy other games until I can play Star Citizen, or until there's something for me in Star Citizen, right? And if you don't, it's the same with, like, I don't know, content creators. It's the same with movies. If you don't like it, don't play it. Don't watch it. Don't whatever. So I want to see more from Star Citizen. I want to see You mentioned, what did you say? Like, they're hyping box missions. They're not hyping box missions. They're hyping a completely different thing. Like, Elliot is here. I guess he's still here. The lead designer of the mission team, and he can tell you He can tell you like how much complex those missions are gonna be, and like much more complex than what we have right now, and how they're gonna play out and all of that. So look, instead of being grumpy, and that's like why I'm turning like a completely new page in my life. Instead of being like grumpy all the time, yeah, it's modular so we can scale them and make them more complex. Exactly, Elliot. So they're gonna be more complex, Shane. Like they're gonna be. You're gonna start off doing something, and then some other things are gonna occur, and you're gonna be doing something else. And it's not just gonna be a box mission. It's gonna be much more than just a single box mission. If you approach that from that perspective, oh, it's still like another box mission. So for like right now, the box missions are you go from you take boxes from point A, you deliver them to point B. But there's gonna be in the what's it called? In the future, there's gonna be much more to it. It's not just gonna be like fly from point A to point B and drop the box wherever. There's gonna be more things in between. And it's going to be modular. So basically, most of the times you're going to get like, there's going to be more variety because there's going to be more things that are going to occur in between those 2 points, basically. I play a lot Euro Truck Simulator, so I need cargo missions. So it's not, they won't come. It's a question of when, and we have priorities of what we need to do first. Yeah, of course. So, yeah, when questions... like yesterday I asked you when, Elliot, but like I know that you can't answer that because you got other teams that are going to tell you, well, we are not ready for, like, we don't have the tech for that, which is like, okay, so what I'm saying is, like, honestly, at this point, and I'm pretty sure that, like, well, Elliot is probably not going to confirm it. I don't want to like put you in a bad spot here, but it's gonna take a while until we get Star Citizen, until CIG gets the game up to the level that most of us want it to be in. So yes, a lot of time has passed, and it's gonna be even more time. I'm not thinking maybe like in 20 years. No, I'm thinking like in 3, 4, 5 years, we might get, like, during that time, we will get the game, or Elliot and the teams are going to get the game to a higher level. And it's not just going to be beautiful, it's going to be a really good game to play. That's what I'm saying. So, even those box missions, great spin on a box mission, but it's a box mission. Why can't you change the box to something else? Is it a problem that it's a box? Like, come on. Like, Elliot, can you give something else instead of a box to Shane? Just like tie it to his account so he doesn't do box missions. Just like make like a milk carton so he can deliver that. I don't know, dude. The way I see it is we're polishing a really, really big diamond. Yeah, that's what I said about Star Citizen in my Should You Buy Star Citizen video for 2023. It is a diamond, but it's uncut. And it needs to be polished a lot. But it is like a diamond in the sand. Because like the sand, I made a whole metaphor there because like the sand is like the other games. And that's why we're all like, that's why even Shane is watching this this stream. That's why people are tuning in, because people want to play this game. Unfortunately, like, you know, what the state of the game is right, like where is it right now? But at some point, yeah, it's gonna get better. I just didn't finish the sentence. So But when we do get there, it will be that, oh, there will be no game like it. Yeah, it's obvious. The Persian missions, you deliver a data chip. Dude, just give him like a milk carton, honestly. Are you fine with that, Shane? Is that going to be enough for you? Like, it doesn't matter if it's a box. It's a beautiful toy box full of wet firewood. All right, let's continue. What I'm saying, before we continue, what I'm saying is, like, temper your expectations, but also try to view this from another perspective. And honestly, I have noticed that my perspective started changing when I started streaming. And I'm not gonna lie, I am still like a bit pissed off because of like the lack of progress or whatever. I know that they're doing a lot and they're doing some good work, but from my like stupid player's point of view, I just want to see that. I want to play in Pyro. But also, why would you want Pyro when it's not finished? But I want Pyro. Like, it's just how it is. Like, I want to play in Pyro, and that's it. But it's not finished. And then we just go into a fucking loop. But my view on things has changed since I started streaming because I reacted to a lot of videos and I haven't watched that many videos before I started the YouTube channel. So I saw that people have been like quoting certain stuff that is not true, that like have been pissed off because of some things that are not particularly true. And they were using like their opinions as facts, and that's never good. So I toned it down a bit. I am still like what I am. I'm still gonna keep it real, like Dave Chappelle in his show. But still, like, I'm telling you, Shane, that like, and you, Dusk Till Dawn, and like the rest of you, whoever's watching, that it's gonna take a while. And honestly, 3.18, what we have right now, like, just wait for 4.0, and you'll see. Like, I'm fucking certain that it's gonna be even more broken, which is a good thing. You gotta see it as a good thing, honestly. I don't want a white knight here, but that only means that there's gonna be a big difference between like the previous patch and 4.0. I don't know if the previous patch is going to be 3.19 or maybe they're going to continue with like 3.20, whatever. But it doesn't matter. In the end, it's going to get worse because it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's what I'm saying. If you give the person Pyro, but it's just empty space, will he really play there? I mean, I don't know. Like, I just want to see Pyro. I want to touch the grass on the planets, honestly. But yeah.
An audition for a game called Star Citizen. At this point, they knew I was obsessed with video games, and every time a game came up, they knew I was.
Fuck it, I gotta stop it again. So, one more thing before I play it again, and probably stop it again, is that really pisses me off a lot. And like I saw it today in my Discord channel somewhere, I don't know where, but people are talking about spaghetti code, and it pisses me off because my dad is a programmer. I don't have anything to do with that, but I know from him and from a couple of friends that are also programmers, I know how hard it is. I know that, like, I know some people that built mods. I know the some of the original developers of Squad, and like before that, they were doing the mod for Battlefield 2, which was called Project Reality, which I played for a long time. And I know that every piece of software that is basically a game, any complex piece of software, is going to have the spaghetti code. and that is like you can't go around it. That's gonna happen. So saying that something is spaghetti code and that's why it can be fixed is just like, dude, like whatever. The last IC shows that they have spaghetti code that is made different from newer missions. Look, if you ever modded a game, you would know that, like, if you changed a text somewhere or a prompt somewhere, it would completely like break the skybox. If you change the menu buttons, it breaks the weapon and you like shoot yourself in the face. So that's how like codes work. That's how like making a game works. And then in the end, you gotta find a way how to like fix all of that, of course. But like, what do you think that like they're gonna make a game where everything is gonna be like laid out completely logical? That's not how it works. Every game has spaghetti code. Every fucking single game, honestly. And I'm not like trying to defend anyone, but like that's the facts. That's how it works. That's how it works. It's not a bad thing.
I was excited. And
I'm gonna
just
play it now and
developing
shut
their
up.
voice department at the time, so they were learning too about how the games industry
The
worked.
agency you were with.
Yeah, the agency, yeah. And because I was so enthusiastic, and so I was really pushing for it. I was like, any games, I really, really want to be seen for them, please. You know, when you're an actor and you have an agency, you obviously can go, I would love to do theatre, please.
Shane, how do you know that? Old coders left without making a notes in system. How do you know that? Are you also working for CAG? So new designers came in and gave to sort through spaghetti code from past coders, like unraveling a garden hose. How do you know that? Maybe it happened, maybe it didn't happen. It doesn't matter. But in the end, we still have, well, 318 is being worked on, right? But like 317.5 was working. With all the bugs in it and all of that, it was still working, right? So even if that was true, why does it matter? So Elliot said, we try fixing every mission to make sure all our content works. If you find anything broken, please do an IC report and I can look into it and fix it. Yeah. Thank you, Elliot.
Please push me for theatre, or please push me here. For me, I was like, please push the games, because I'm really passionate about it. I know how they work because I've played them since I was a kid. You know, I've played video games every day since I was 13, so I know how
Like,
games
one more thing.
should sound.
Just like realize how, like, you need to realize how passionate, and you need to respect how passionate Elliot is. Like, and I'm gonna be a peeping Tom here, Elliot. You're playing something else, but you're listening to my like stream, and you're here, or Elliot is here, and trying to answer your questions, and trying to feel out the community and like check out what is you're playing Hogwarts. Yeah, I don't really see that. I see something metal, but yeah. So I still gotta play that game, honestly. But he is so passionate about this game that he is here in the chat telling you, dudes, just report it so I can fix it. He's like here to answer your questions. Why? Like, he's not. This is his off time. He's playing a game like at his house, I guess. Like, come on. He did his job. So you got to respect that. And a lot of people, I remoted into work on Christmas Eve to fix Korea. Yeah, we know that. Amazing. Honestly, like that's why I said that I love you, because you're passionate. Because I'm the same when it comes to music. Like, whenever there's some issue to be solved, I just go back to my studio. I mean, my studio is right here now, but before it wasn't. I go into the studio, I fix it immediately, and I finish the song or whatever. like it doesn't matter. I have spent New Year's Eves when my like friends were like partying. I was in the studio trying to fix something so we can have a release by the date that was settled. So, like, I don't know if there's if everyone is CAG is like that, but like Elliot deserves all the fucking respect and all the praise, honestly. Every dev adds comments, your thought, you do it before you even work on the game. All code is buddied, which means other coders have to verify before it's submitted. Nothing goes in without comments. Yeah, so whenever I was doing, and now we're going into like whatever. We're just gonna talk about this, I guess. So whenever I was doing like arrangements, bigger arrangements with other people in music, it depends on like if I was hired as a sound engineer, or if I was hired as a producer, or if I was hired as a arranger. It doesn't matter. But sometimes I collaborated with other people, and whenever they send me like a Cubase, that's like a DAW, DAW that you use for making music. I don't know how else to explain it. So they send me a project file and nothing is labeled there. I just tell them, fuck off. Label everything, and then I can know like where everything is, and I'm gonna fix it, and that's it. So, or fix it, or continue working on whatever you were doing. So without that, and without this, what Elia just said, like there will be no game, there will be no song, or whatever. Whenever you have a collaboration, you need to have notes. Council reports that that's a joke. I've listed many reports and nothing. I talked about this yesterday on stream. You weren't there because you're only watching my streams on YouTube. I'm also streaming on Twitch. You gotta, I already talked about this. Elliot was here. So you gotta understand that there are priorities. Like some bugs are not gonna get fixed. Some bugs are gonna get overlooked because, and I showed yesterday a couple of bugs that haven't been worked on that I think are serious issues. But yeah, those were not priorities. For example, we had the whiskey glass bug that could crash the servers a couple of patches ago. And I did a video on that, covering that like a few days prior to IAE, so I can boost the views, so I can make CAG fix that, because IAE is happening. What's it called? Free fly event is happening. People are gonna come there, and the servers are gonna fucking crash because of Moabs attached to whiskey glasses, right? So that was overlooked, and that was like a bug from like 316 days, I think. But it was overlooked because it didn't seem like a threat. It was like, okay, we have that. We have like more important issues. And then once they realize that it's really like that it crashes servers, then yeah, it needs to get fixed. It's still an alpha, guys. Like, it's still an alpha. Like, you gotta... You gotta understand that. The only thing that I hate is the reoccurring bugs, especially with the elevators, honestly. Like, whatever bug kills you, I hate it, because you lose all the progress that you have. And then you have the elevators.
Or what a merchant should be like, you know, in a way that maybe someone that doesn't play games might not. I'd love to do as many games as possible. So games were coming up more and more. So Star Citizen, they said, you know of this game. And I was a console player. I'd never played anything on PC. I'd never even understood how a gaming PC worked. And I was like, no, but let's do it. And it was just, it's funny, I talked to Dave about this today, but he was like, he said a generic US kind of script and a generic UK monologue just to hear accents, and they were casting for a wide variety of things at the time, so the audition was just to read these monologues in a US accent and a UK accent to camera, and then shout a few like I don't know, just like commands and things like that. Just, but the way
Item ghosting?
This is, again, this is
What are
not
you talking
Star
about,
Citizen, This was
Saul?
the casting day. It was just such a weird day. The way that they decided to go about that audition, and when I explained it to Dave, he's like, "What?" But that's how the audition went. It was so weird.
Okay, the Clink 4200. The game is gonna work in a couple of days. Just give him time. There was a new patch that got released, and it was a really bad launch. And they apologized, and they're working on it. And you will be able to log into the game. Probably next week it should be running, but for some of the players it doesn't work. For some of the players it does work. So yeah.
I did the monologue, and then they asked me to run around the
No,
room,
this is not constant. This is a one-off.
occasionally stopping and looking at camera and shouting a command from a piece of paper that I'd read. At the time, I could only assume they were trying to see physicality. Maybe they wanted to, if it was going to get mocapped, maybe they wanted to see how we moved in the space. But it was a tiny room. There was no space to run around except go back.
Rakumo, he just bought the game. He doesn't even know what a PTU is. So
And then stop and just be like, "Sniper ahead," just something like that, and then run around again, and then be like, "Get down!" And then I was inside, slowly and surely dying, and wishing I could leave the room. I was waiting for them to tell me to stop, and they finally.
honestly, I
No
can't
one-
stress Jared's intro is demoralizing when you put all the energy into something and it doesn't go as planned. It hits you all hard. Yeah. It's completely understandable. I can imagine, honestly. Like, I can tell you from my perspective, in 2020, I have released, because I was supposed to work on a few movies and a few albums for other people as a producer. And then everything just died because of like COVID and all of that. And the music scene in Serbia was bad before. And the music industry is dead basically now, especially when it comes to like anything that is the alternative to the mainstream. And the mainstream is fucking, we call it turbo folk, which is basically ethnic music with like nationalism in it and all of that shit, and it's gross. Like, it's fucking amazing. It's so bad that it's amazing. It's rotten to the core. But what I did in 2020, because I was locked up and I started playing Star Citizen, and in other games, because I didn't play in a while any games because I was just working constantly, and I did 3 albums on my own, released them. Some people were really excited about some of them, but in the end, I didn't get the feedback that I got, and that also hits hard. So when you have like a raging community for a patch that you released and it didn't work out, I can imagine how bad it is. But also, if it doesn't go as planned, as you wanted it to be like big and glorious, it also like frustrates you and makes you sad, which is like completely normal. So yeah.
Smiling.
I lost,
It was-
like, my
everyone was
track-
tired. It was a tired
train
day.
was
Maybe-
tough,
Maybe I was
track,
at the end.
whatever.
Everyone was very kind of.
I'm really
drained,
tired.
and no one was giving me any kind of. Nothing felt positive in the room. I was like, I need to go. I just never get out. And then I left. I was like, right, let's just forget that audition experience. 2 weeks later, I get offered 2 roles in a game that completely changes my life, and I have still to this day no idea why. But I'm very glad that it happened. Very
So-
glad that it happened.
Those 2 roles are.
Those 2 roles were the New Babbage hologram and all the voices at Microtech at the time, and then New Babbage, and then Rowena Dooley.
Rowena Dooley. Rowena Dooley. Who's Rowena Dooley?
The Xenothreat and Siege of Orison
Right.
mission lady who yells at you the whole time, tells you that you're terrible at what you do.
All right. So you recorded those on the same day?
Yeah.
Okay. So walk me through that day then. So you get to where were you? Were you at Imaginarium?
That was at Nottingham. That was in Nottingham mocap before everything got moved. So I went to Nottingham.
So you're in Nottingham. Do you do Miss Babbage or do you Rowena first?
Miss Babbage was first.
Right.
And they told me to keep my feet planted because she was obviously a hologram. So I had to stay still, but I could move the top part of my body. So it's funny when I walk past and I see her going, this is this or whatever, or the little kind of, she has a little hands on hips forward thing, and that was me doing something above the waist so that they had some movement to sound automated. And then Dooley, they wanted
Dude,
US,
who isn't
so
a
we
Mass
did a bit
Effect
of
fan,
American for her.
honestly?
Dooley at the time, I did more Miss Babbage, I think, that day. That was all of Miss Babbage in once. I never went back again.
Yeah,
to Miss
Tsukuyumi.
Babbage.
So
And
she's Dooley from like Xenothreat, and then she's the Miss Babbage, and she has a Twitch channel. She's
Dooley
streaming.
was just like an hour maybe at the end. And then, but now, years later, Dooley is the character I've done the most.
Because you've come back subsequently
Yes,
and done
and
more
done.
stuff.
Every time I go back now, it's often a bit of Dooley.
How would you describe Miss Babbage as a character then? What do you have to do internally to get in?
Why would we do that, Gabriel? Like, I can only speak for myself. People already perceive me as overly negative and toxic for whatever reason. Like, whenever I wasn't happy with a certain thing, I gave a solution and I said, it's okay, I know they're working, blah, 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 but this needs to change, or this is not good. And that's it. And that's only my opinion. Like, that's just a single opinion from a guy that has a YouTube channel. You can also have a YouTube channel and have your own opinion. Like, that's the thing. And why would I add fuel to the fire with a video that, like, everybody's talking about that? So people can say that I'm jumping onto a bandwagon. I don't need that bandwagon. It's fucking obvious. That fucking scared me, if you know. Honestly, it's obvious. There's like no point in, like, see, like Elliot is here. Why would I add fuel to the fire that, like, broke his heart and the hearts of all the devs that were working on 318? Right? This shit happens, and you gotta understand that this shit happens. 318, whatever happened with 318 when it got like and I can't know what happened. I can only speculate, so I'm not even gonna do that. But what happens? Grumpy Eye drew on me over time. At first, I thought he was negative, and I was overly positive about Star Citizen. Then I experienced the bugs, and now I can relate to a lot of stuff that Grumpy has said. So I talked about, like, last stream, I think I talked about Squads. The Squads latest patch, or the patch prior to this one, which, like, came out a couple days ago. It was horrific. It was disastrous. Like, the game was borderline unplayable. And shit like that happens. Like, you can't, whenever you're running like a live service or a live alpha, an early access or whatever, that shit is gonna happen. You know what? Blizzard has been announcing Overwatch 2 for 3 years. People stopped playing Overwatch 1 because they were waiting for Overwatch 2. They released Overwatch 2 and it's unplayable for the first 2 weeks. The first week, nobody could even fucking log into the servers. Could be like a DDoS because of the high number of players trying to play it. But then the next week, servers have issues where they don't stream the players in, or the player character models. So you just see like a red ball walking around the place, headshotting you, if it's a Widowmaker or like a sniper. If you don't know what Overwatch is, it doesn't matter. So he can kill you, but you can't fucking see him. So it's Blizzard, a big fucking company. It happens. Shit like that happens. You gotta deal with it, honestly. I don't like that it happened because I wanted to play 318. I wanted to live on my reclaimer and just like do salvage, make some money, have some fun, stream it, and all of that. But stuff like this happens.
The mode of Miss Babbage.
I just channel Alexa. No, I don't. Well, it's more. I love Mass Effect a lot, and there's a hologram also, I think, at some of the planets that you go to in Mass Effect, and it reminded me of that. So I think I was just thinking of that a little bit and trying to stay, painfully cheery and welcoming as you would if you were a robot, trying to make a place sound appealing. But I think doing an automated voice, or even just doing like the Sainsbury's self-checkout type of voice, that always comes so easy to me, and I've always done that stuff. So all I have to do is just make it a bit more happy, and then it was fun to do.
And then Marina Dooley is...
Hard ass. Well, I don't think actually they
Yeah, but I'm
didn't
saying
seem to,
Blizzard is a
specifically
huge
make
company.
her a hard ass. It was just the script delivers her in that way because she's just focused on work. So there's and also when you leave the fight, she wants you to come back. If you're not doing well, she lets you know. And even if you do well, she's kind of like, well done, but that's move on. So she was written in a way that.
Do you still remember any of the lines?
The weapon's free, y'all. Is that what you're trying to get me to say?
No, I don't know.
Sure,
There
Shane.
was 2 moments where she says y'all in the script, and it became this whole thing. Zero State was like, why is she saying y'all? Because she doesn't have a southern accent. And I was like, it was just in the script, and that became her tagline. Everyone brings up the fact that she's
Zero State said that?
Zero State, yeah.
It's 1,000 years in the future, Zero. Crap changes. Cultures mix. Try to assign 21st century norms to the 30th century.
We love you, Zero State.
You know better. Don't. We do not.
I do.
I'm annoyed. You know better.
Weapons free, y'all.
Sorry. Pete worries when I get really loud like that. I can see. He goes.
They're shaking.
See you, Elliot.
I see them.
He's
Thank
like,
you for
"Don't do that, Pete."
stopping by,
You're
popping
supposed to
in.
know better. I'm like, that's why I never got past industrial.
I still gotta message you.
And then do you
So we
remember
can
any
set
of
up the
now,
podcast
we don't
if
have
you
the
want to.
modulation or anything, but do you remember any of the Miss Babbage lines?
Oh, you know what? When I first started, I know we're going to talk about Twitch later, but when I first started streaming Star Citizen on Twitch, I had a redeem on the channel of say a line from Miss Babbage and say a line from Dooley. And the Dooley was, I think, weapons free all, or something like that. And the Miss Babbage one was always where creative innovation meets innovative creativity, that one. Because everyone was like, what does that even mean? Because it's true. But what does a robot mean?
So right now, just give me that line separated from all the conversation in your best Miss Babbage.
Where creative innovation meets innovative creativity.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. She fucking did it. It is at this point in the original taping that an unfortunate accident befell the only constant, utterly corrupting most of the audio during this sequence. Anna was brilliant though, and we wish we could have shared it with you.
What happens in Babbage stays in Babbage. Except for herpes. That shit will come back with you.
What the fuck?
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
You did well with the no laughing.
Yeah. Well.
Said no one.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were going to get to some of the Friends ones.
The turkey one.
No.
I went straight in with the turkey.
What's up, Leviathan?
That's right. I stepped up. She's my friend and she needed help. If I had to, I'd pee on any one of you.
Oh, that's the jellyfish line. Sorry.
Yeah, she's
I
so
can do
nice.
Savage.
Yeah. If anyone needs any replacement lines or a patch or something, you know where to go.
Thank you for being a good sport.
Not at all.
So you mentioned your Twitch channel. So yes. So before we get to that, at some point the Star Citizen community discovered you.
Yes, so I posted a video of the mocap after I got permission to do so. It was actually only a clip that they sent me for reference. So when you go back in and do a character again, they send you a little clip of what you sound like so that you can match it. So it's just a reference video. So I was booked again for Dooley, so they said this is what Dooley sounds like, just so you know. And they happened to send me a work in progress of Dooley moving a little bit and my face next to it with all the dots. And it was the first time I'd seen myself digitalized ever.
That's cool.
I think it was probably before, I think this is before the game I actually saw myself in game properly. So I said, yeah, so I hadn't played, Miss Babbage had been out, they'd played it, the community had played it, I hadn't. So this is the first time I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And the nerd in me started getting really excited. And I thought, I wish I could show my friends, people that know I love games, it'd be so nice to post this somewhere. So I messaged Dave, I said, I don't suppose you could give me clearance to post this on social media. Don't worry, if not, I know this stuff is quite, sensitive. And he said, let me go check for you.
You know what I would do if I was her? I would just try to dress up as the Miss Babbage guy. as the Miss Babbage character and just like troll people on like Port Olisar, etc.
for ages. Then randomly he messaged me back saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, you can post that if you want to." I posted it on Twitter and YouTube. It was honestly 60 seconds, and it was just a little bit of it to keep it there for my memories. I went to sleep, woke up, and in the morning across those platforms, 10,000 people had watched this 60-second clip of just me doing a bit of Rowena Dooley. And I then realized the scope of this community because I had no idea. I had no idea at all. And Cobra TV, amazing creator, I love him, and he's honestly responsible for everything that happened after that. I owe so much to that streamer, Cobra, if you're watching, legend. He said,
Bob, don't give him ideas.
I'd love to ask you something.
Like the thing that I hate the most about DayZ is that you can like get diseases from other players. Honestly, I'm playing that for like the past 2 weeks, and I'm getting pretty good, honestly. But the thing that I hate is that you can still get like diseases from people that are dead, because most of the people that I meet gets dead somehow. They all say that they're friendly until they pull out like a gun on me, and then they're dead. So it's not my issue. But the thing is, you can still like get a disease from them, even if it's like a common cold or influenza or whatever.
Some questions. I didn't know what
You take
Twitch
a water
was.
bottle.
I didn't know anything. I said,
You don't
"Sure."
know what is in the water bottle, if it's like from a lake or whatever. You drink it and you have a stomach virus, or you're like whatever, and you need to treat that. And finding medicine in DayZ is a pain in the ass.
So I went live on his Twitch channel. He asked me some questions, and as a result, fast forward.
So please
basically,
don't give
I
him
got a
ideas.
gaming PC to stream this game, and then I did, and it all kind of just took off from there, very quickly.
What were your honest? Be honest.
Yeah.
It's just a first impression. What were your honest first impressions about the Star Citizen community?
The community.
Yeah, as I start tracking you down on Twitter, as I follow you to Twitch.
It wasn't as much of a shock the how many and how much fandom there was around it, because I think being a gamer, I understood where that comes from and why. But
Yeah, you'll probably get sick after going into like the Grimhex
be
hospital.
positive and honestly non-toxic and it was just so loving, the sheer amount of like, can we just help? It was all very much about coming together and doing nice things for each other. When not every game has that. We all know that. Like, not every game has that attitude.
Neither does this game, Anna. Come on, as a content creator, as a fellow content creator, I can tell you that. Well, I guess I have like gotten the other end of the stick, because Jesus, how some people are toxic towards me. Jesus.
It was so incredible, so incredible. And I've never met a community like it since, honestly. I really haven't. Even in being in other franchises.
But also some people are
Star Citizen
super
really
nice,
sticks
of
out
course.
to me. It does, and I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I mean it.
And so now you stream on Twitch and you play the game.
Once a week.
Twitch
Yeah.
once a week?
Yeah.
Usually playing on Fridays
On Fridays at the moment. Yeah, it might change.
when
but
when this airs, which is so you're actually a direct competitor. To
who
the
knows?
show.
Who knows? By the time anyone's listening to this, maybe I will be.
It might be part of the reason why we had to pre-film.
Watch.
Yeah, it's the same with DayZ,
She's
Shane.
like, no, I can't miss my Twitch stream.
I can't not be live.
Cannot be live. My audience waits.
The audience. No, it's nice working for myself though. I have worked several jobs alongside acting that I didn't love or were really tough on me to support this, this dream that I've had, and I've worked a lot of things that I didn't love doing that made me really unhappy. So now having content being my job alongside, I feel like I have this dual career now of being a content creator and an actor, is just so incredible to have two jobs that I love equally. And I'm so grateful because, again, this game is the reason why I have that job now. So grateful.
Occasionally I stream on my personal channel. I haven't done it in. Actually, I don't know that I've done it this
follow
calendar
you.
year. Yeah, I don't know that I've done it this calendar year.
I follow you.
But when I do it,
I didn't even know that Jared
it's
has a
usually
Twitch channel.
the catharsis for me. It's usually a chance to
Vent.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to climb to the top of a mountain and be heard
Yep.
by
great.
people, and that's what I tend to use my channel for. It's certainly not to be entertaining. It's certainly not to provide any form.
You're like that. I do naturally.
Wait, he's actually
That
on
just
Twitch
eminent.
as Discolando? Really? Let me find him. I'm gonna follow him. He actually is. All right, followed.
It's from me. That's why I have my own show.
She's not wrong.
Big facts.
I thought that was only like his handle on
Anybody who looks
on,
at me doing this goes, "That guy's a professional."
on Spectrum and in the
Can't even
game.
comb his hair.
You are.
But yeah, so do you find any catharsis in that? Is that shared? I've also never interviewed anybody that's ever streamed on Twitch on this channel on the show
really?
before. So it's do you get that kind of I do it for a connection. I do it when I just need to. As strange as it is, I stream when I do the personal stuff. It's when I need to just make a weird connection with somebody. It's like I just need to be heard about something, and it's usually something dumb.
Yeah.
I'll talk about some dumb philosophy thing or whatever, but it's never.
Honestly,
it's always
that's how I saw my videos before. Like what Jared is describing right now, that's how I saw my videos before. If you remember, and if you're like here for some time on YouTube, you would know that I didn't only cover Star Citizen. I also talked about some personal stuff and also talked about some personal experiences from before. And then when I started streaming a couple of months ago, I realized that was first of all, I realized maybe a year ago that that's not a good idea, because why would people click on stuff like that? Why would I have a whole segment in a video that's about Star Citizen where I'm going to talk about some personal shit? People don't want to see that. People are there for content. They want to see whatever the opinion is, or hear what the opinion is, or hear the facts, or learn something. But on Twitch, you can do that, and on Twitch, streaming, you can do that, and I'm starting to appreciate streaming a bit more, because not only that I can vent out and talk about some stuff that is bothering me, but also I can connect with you guys a bit more, which is amazing to me, because before the only connection that I made was in YouTube when I premiere a video, then I'm in the chat and talking to you. Now I can connect more. And then making a podcast where I can actually talk to you, that's amazing to me, honestly.
It's about weirdly finding some kind of connection and
I completely relate to some of that for sure. I think I've been a gamer for a long time, and growing up with the friends that I had at school, I love my friends so much, but none of them gamed. Maybe even, especially back then, there wasn't very many women that gamed, and I always felt very alone in being a girl gamer. And I know it sounds cringe, but a girl gamer it sometimes does feel like a very different environment.
well, they're all fake.
They're all fake. They
They're
don't
all
exist.
fake.
Even I'm lying. But being on Twitch and being able to play games and see, first of all, I have now so many wonderful Twitch friends, other streamers that are girls like me, and I feel like I'm not just suddenly by myself in my circles, being the only gamer, and no one really understands why I'm interested or what it is about that I love so much. Twitch suddenly put me into a world where everyone liked the same things as me at the same time, just as much, and it was so incredibly beautiful to be in a space that everyone felt like me in that way, and I could nerd about the graphics for ages about something, and everyone would completely understand what I meant, or I could talk about a mechanic that I loved, or a gameplay style that I loved, and everyone would be same, or talk about it with me, or challenge me on thoughts that I had about games where nowhere else I could do that. So it definitely feels.
See, this is a social matter that most of us don't even think about. Not only that people, whenever they see a girl gamer or hear her voice in a game, they're like, "Oh my God, it's a girl! What do I do now?" But also in real life, she may be passionate, and she is passionate, or any girl can be passionate about games, certain games that she likes, and just like we are the men, and the society, at least in Serbia, I can talk about Serbia, they don't really appreciate that. If you're if you're a girl and you're into that, yeah, like whatever. Honestly, I'm loving, for example, I'm loving that my girlfriend has played games, knows about games. She doesn't have the time to play games now, but we're thinking about like playing The Last of Us when it comes out for PC. So we're gonna play it together. Probably off stream because she doesn't want to be on the stream or on camera. But that is amazing to me because like most of the girls in Serbia don't really even use PCs. Like, yeah, they know how to use PCs, but like, why? That's like, my experience.
A place that is home in a way.
She's quite young,
that sense,
and
yeah.
I kind of
And
doubt
just
the
so this
statements.
doesn't
I'm
sound
35,
like
and
it's a
back
commercial
when I
for
was
any
younger,
of your Twitch
tons of
chat.
girls that came also.
Shout out some other Twitch streamers.
Or maybe she's really talking about just her inner circle of friends or school neighborhood. Yeah, but Tsukuyumi, where are you from? That's the thing. I don't know about England. I guess she grew up in England. You're from Canada. Different country. In Serbia, I can tell you when we had like internet cafes where the kids would go and play, where I spent most of my fucking school time. It's not just the social circle. At least here in Serbia, like the girls were in the cafes, in the internet cafes, or like wherever. I don't know how you call it, game cafes or whatever. We call it internet cafes, but like where you had like LAN parties and all of that, where you would like play CS 1.3 back in the day, Unreal Tournament, Quake 3 Arena, and all of that. Back then, the girls were there, but they were just like waiting there for their like boyfriends or like simps or whatever to like finish the game so they can do something else. I have never ever in like at least 10 years of playing in those cafes, I have never seen a girl actually sitting, at least here in Belgrade in Serbia, sitting and playing a game or like a competitive game against other people. Now I can hear it like on Overwatch and all of that. I can hear the voices, and it's honestly really nice to see that like the barrier has been broken. Except why am I saying except? Especially when you're from a country like this one, like Serbia. I'm 37 and I know only a handful of girls that play video games. Also, there is a big difference between playing a game and being a gamer. Yeah, exactly. So playing a game. So I can tell you that out of all the girls that I have met in my life, and let's say that there's like 100 of them, let's say for the sake of the argument, maybe 20 of them played a game, and that was like Sims. Like Sims 2, whatever. And that's like the only game that they played, and that was it. Ever. And I know of like up to 5 girls out of 100, right? They have played more. Like FIFA or GTA 5 and stuff like that. UK here, girl gamers were rare, but the number is growing fast. Is great. It's the same with, honestly, it's the same with music. Like music back in the day, it was really rare to see like a girl playing in a real, like in a big, in a, not a big band like trumpets and all of that, like jazz big band, but in a respectable huge band. It was really rare to see a girl playing like bass or guitar, like shredding the fucking guitar or whatever. Now it seems to like it seems like the barrier has been broken, and it's happening more and more, and it's amazing. Because like it's amazing, but it's such a stupid thing that like why wasn't it like that before? Why? I don't understand that. But yeah, like Tal Wilkenfeld. She's from Australia. She played with the late Jeff Beck. Dude, that girl is crazy. like the bass line's fucking amazing. If you never heard her, just type in Jeff Beck at the Crossroads playing. It's a Stevie Wonder tune. I forgot because we ended up as lovers. Just so you can see the passion on her face, and you can hear the shredding on the fucking bass guitar. Amazing.
That you've made connections with that have helped you in the time.
Star Citizen ones?
Yes,
or-
shout out some other Star Citizen Twitch streamers.
I
know you-
love
I know you-
I know we all know and love Captain Burks. He was also very instrumental, I think, in teaching me how Twitch worked. We did collaborations, especially at the start. I was very lucky to have him support me very early on. He's amazing. Zero State, who we love. Cobra, who I love. Sigelian, I love him. Sigelian, I love his stuff too. There's a lot of people. Noodle, Moist Noodle, I love him. I'm gonna feel bad if I miss everybody now.
You're gonna miss people. I set you up to fail. There's
Oh my God, there's so many.
No matter how many you name, you're gonna forget somebody.
There's so many amazing Star Citizen streamers, but
And of course, we gave them all priority access to 318. In fact, all the problems with access to 318 was so that
know.
we could just let the content clear.
Irelia, Smashly, I love Smashly. Oh, there's so many.
We don't know each other, Tsukiomi.
But yeah, it's been so nice to meet these people and
Like
see-
I have just learned
everyone plays Star Citizen. So
maybe 15 days ago, maybe 20 days ago that I'm lying. I'm actually lying. So I know that Space Tomato did a what's it called, an interview with her, but I completely forgot. And I don't think that I watched the whole interview. So in the end, 15, 20 days ago, maybe a month ago, I have learned that she's actually streaming.
differently as well. Everyone has a complete, because it's such a vast game. There's so much to it. People play it in different ways for different reasons.
Yeah, Jeff was
So
fucking
it's
amazing.
Nice to see everyone's different approach to the same game. Really fun.
So we are just about out of time.
Yeah.
Are you game to try one more thing? It won't be like it'll sort of be like the Miss Babbage thing. You get it? I want to try. Let's see if we can do this.
I'm silent. I don't know what he's going to ask me.
David, let's kill the lights and
God.
bring up left 44. Just left 44. No, I'm sorry. Right. You knew what I was trying to do anyway. Thank you. So that's right, 44. I called it wrong. So this is your spot. This is your spot. I have, going back to your drama school route,
Oh, God.
I have printed up, I went to the internet
time that I left behind
and
here.
printed up 5. Printed up 5 potential Shakespearean monologues.
Oh, my God.
Can we go to her direct? There we go. Look at your spot. Look at this lovely spot. It's a little hot. But
It's a bit overblown, but
it's
yeah.
dramatic. So would you mind giving us a
That's what they
dramatic
say. It's a little hard, but
Which one are you choosing?
it's got to be Hamlet.
Gotta be Hamlet?
I think because people that are watching right now will know it the most. That's how I feel.
So this is your camera right here. And let's see a dramatic. I never get to have an actor on. I never get to have a performer on.
It's true. So Jared has gone, dance, monkey, dance. That's
He had Sandy on a couple of SELs ago.
what's happening here.
Your
He's not-
best dramatic reading.
Okay. It's actually been such a long time since I've done Shakespeare. And I've also never done it professionally. I did it loads at drama school and then never since. You get a hair flick. You're also not allowed to laugh again in this one.
Nope.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
She's gonna laugh.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more.
Or the Australian version would be to die or tomorrow.
And by sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand
Badum-tish.
natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. Don't make me do any more.
That was really good, though. It was so good. All right, you can go back to normal
No,
lighting.
Jared's turn, please.
See ya, Gabriel.
Spell out on him.
What?
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
just
gonna end
normal
the stream
lighting.
soon as this is over.
No, I told you, I'm a bat.
Theatre background. You're wasted. You're wasted here.
What's up, Revenges?
Lights go. Oh my god.
Oh my
Yes.
god, yes, please.
Yes. Come on. Right. Is this a dagger Jared sees before him? I reckon.
What did I do? Okay, so I've got Mark Antony. I've got Portia. All right, I'm not going to try to do dramatic. 'Cause I'm not a dramatic actor.
Okay, we're going comedy.
So I will no. Well, I'm going to try to do. I'll do melodrama.
Okay. Can you
I
do
will
a
do.
British accent?
Okay. I will do. Sir Laurence Olivier
Yeah.
as Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
I'm setting myself up for some. As Richard III. Okay, so this
Right.
is Sir
Silence in
Laurence
the
Olivier,
auditorium.
British actor,
I'm ready.
doing Emperor Palpatine, also British actor Ian McDermott,
Yeah.
as Richard III.
Amazing.
Nobody clipped this.
Everybody clip this.
Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this sun of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house in the deep bosom of the ocean, buried. Now
Dude, he's not bad. Actually, he's not bad.
are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarums changed to merry meetings,
Yar.
dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now,
See you
instead
again.
of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out as far as I can go.
He's really good, right?
Off book? Okay, knew it already?
No, it's just
No, you knew.
oh, that's Study Shakespeare.
That was some incredible sight reading.
Yeah. I auditioned well, and then I'd get in there and they'd be like,
They say that. They do say auditioning is its own art form. And
oh yeah, no. There's plenty of people who trash auditions and they're dynamite in the thing, and there are people who absolutely ace auditions, and then you get them and they're like, oh, why did we hire this person?
That's unfortunate.
I never had trouble getting the job. It was once I got
No,
the
look,
job,
he can actually be like a voice actor in Star Citizen. Honestly, he'll be really good with it.
No.
Honestly,
luckily I was here
You'd
at
be
this
like,
place long
where
enough
is
before
he?
they
And
realized.
you'd be,
Where's that person we had in the audition?
didn't we hire someone for this role?
No. Sorry, no. Not really. Not for a while anyway. I'm not even looking at the right
Not for the
camera.
last few days.
And yeah, that's it. We're going to stop there. Oh, I'm sorry. One last thing. If you use your chance, I know you have your own stream and everything, but big audience. If there's one
but also I didn't hear Palpatine there, so he debated us.
last thing you want to say to the Star Citizen community before we let you go. Anything you want them to know?
I know it just might be the cringiest thing ever, but I honestly,
No, I just did the cringy.
I-
thing. You're going to be all right.
I wouldn't be so happy and so actualized in my work if it wasn't for this game and for you guys. I know a lot of you probably already kind of saw the beginning of everything that happened with me on Twitch and in content and all that stuff, but I wouldn't be here without you guys in this game. So thank you so much, everyone that is watching. And it's been so nice to get to know more of you with every week that goes by. And I love being part of this game. Ongoing, and it's a pleasure, complete honor. So thank you so much for having me as well.
And we buried the lead, but she was here this week shooting parts for Squadron 42. We're not going to talk about what or when, but it's just another more. If you're already a fan of her work in Star Citizen, more to look forward to in Squadron 42. So yeah, Anna, thank you for.
Squadron 42. Okay. Squadron 404. I was thinking. Oh, thank you for the sub, Ego Mantis. So I was thinking the reason why I'm not that into acting. I did some acting when I was in high school, and that's it. And after like in when I was on the academy, but the reason why he wouldn't get hired was, or he got hired on like after the audition, and people thought like, why did we hire this guy after a while when he like came to like film or like do theater or whatever? It's probably because he is not good with directions, in the sense of, I'm just like speaking off the top of my head. I don't know Jared, so I can't, but I know the type where they're really good at performing one thing, but then the director needs them to change something. So say this in a different way, and they just can't nail it on the first, 5th, 10th try. So that's probably why. But then you have people that are really bad at auditions because they're not sure what's the like message behind everything. And then once they get into the character, because like for auditions you get like a few lines that you gotta say, and that's it. You don't really get the character, like who the character is, was the backstory of the character and all of that. And then like some people get lost in that because like, I don't know how to act this, because like it's just like a few lines. But once they get into the character, they can fucking nail it every time.
For taking the time
Thank
to be on the
you.
show.
It's been such a pleasure.
This part is pre-recorded. It's going to be inserted.
I've seen a lot of
into
actors
a
who are
live
just the
show
same
that
in
we
every
do on
part.
Friday
Yeah.
With Torsten, which we haven't done yet. So at this point, I'll just throw it back to future me.
Bye, chat.
Thanks, Catherine. I forgot my hair even worse today. This was a hat day. So ignore the whole first half of the show where whatever was going on with my head was going on with my head.
I'm imagining, Rukomo, I'm imagining you just being bored and like half asleep next to the PC and trying to like make the stream a bit better with like applauses and all of that. Honestly, I know that like this was Will Smith is Will Smith as Will Smith in every movie. I do not agree. Will Smith, first of all, movies, it's like a completely different thing. The less you act, the more you say on the screen. But also, he played a lot of different characters that are really good. And he played them really well. So you can't say that like, what's the movie 12 pounds? Is it 12 pounds? That like that Will Smith is the same Will Smith from like Hancock, for example. I mean, it is the same guy, but he acted differently. And he acted really differently during the Oscars. But honestly, this whole thing, for me, I mostly fall asleep. But the first portion was amazing because we have learned new stuff. And the second portion was fun for me because of my, like, I'm not gonna say acting career, but like my previous experiences with acting. So yeah.
Both so much for.
So if you guys fell asleep,
this
sorry
week.
about that.
For those who are still
Yeah.
watching, and you're wondering about
See you,
the
Sniper
status of
Burrito.
Alpha
Yeah,
318,
the stream is.
I said
I'm going to end the
everything that I'm
stream
capable
soon.
of saying about that yesterday in
Just
IFC.
let him
I'm
finish
gonna
first.
Point you to the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website and the socials. They're far more connected in with that stuff than I am. I did learn that there's a page called status.robert.
I don't know, dude. Like Bruce Willis is more of an actor than like what's his name? John Wick. Fucking Keanu Reeves.
SpaceIndustries.com, where you can see, all the
Keanu Reeves is always the same
server
in every
performance
fucking
and stuff
movie.
like that. So you can check that out if you haven't already. But really, just keep in touch with the folks who run the website and the socials and stuff. They're going to have any updates and any meaningful information for you. I'm a video guy, and Anna's an actress and stuff, and we're not the ones you want telling you what's going on
He is
in
worse.
that regard. So for Anna and Torsten, I'm Jared. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Star Citizen Live. We'll be back next week with something or other. It's hard to ever know. So take care, be safe, and thanks for thanks for letting us do this and letting us do weird, cringy stuff like read Shakespeare monologues.
Honestly, I love the second
Nice.
portion.
Bye.
All right. I don't know. I don't know how you felt, guys. I see that there's like still some of you left here, but I like this. I honestly like this. Cyberpunk was funny. Yeah, it was funny broken. But yeah, I don't know, Keanu Reeves for me, like he's certainly a great dude, but as an actor, fucking camera dude. As an actor, I wouldn't say that he's like particularly good. And I can't like remember what is happening to McCann. I can't remember like any other actor that's like that bad. That's like one of the newest actors that are in the game. Like before Keanu Reeves, fuck off. No, fuck off, camera. Oh, everything is breaking. Shit. Everything is just dying here. Yeah, that's why I got this. And if you guys want to help out, super chat on YouTube, join button on YouTube, Twitch, you have like the tip, you have like Prime. If you have Prime, use it. If not, fuck me. But yeah, this is a good start, and the streams are gonna get better. Hopefully, it wasn't crackly the whole fucking time. Yeah, the camera is griefing me, but I wanted to say before Keanu Reeves, it was Nicolas Cage, like hands down. Dude, everything is dying. I gotta end the stream before like the stream ends itself. I can hear crackling in my headphones. Why? I have nothing open. Why is this happening? You know what I said at the start of the stream? Give me a few hours and I'm gonna break it. Bye. Mwah. Love you. Also, merch. Check out my merch store. Like, you can find really good quality, and I don't even fucking know if you can hear this. Really good quality stuff, but also funny stuff that you can wear, and senior citizen shit. Bye. Fucking hell. Mwah. Love you guys. See ya, I guess, tomorrow.